What's up, everybody? Good morning and a very happy Thursday to you all. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start, whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, streaming us up online at WYYradio.com, sportstalk1051.com. Got your smart devices, smart speakers like your Alexa devices, and, of course, the video stream up and rolling on YouTube. Just look up Man Cave TV and tune in over there. Got the Section 105 chat room up and rolling. And the Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. What do we have on our game plan for us on this morning? Brew Crew, they jumped out to a lead last night, but not able to hold on as they fall to the Diamondbacks 6-2. Brewers jumped out to a 1-0 lead after the first, 2-0 through 3, but the Diamondbacks able to put up 4 runs in the top of the fourth and not look back. Brandon Sproats getting the loss, going 4 1/3, 4 earned runs, a couple walks, couple home runs, 5 Ks. But Fitzpatrick making his debut, going 1 1/3, giving up just 2 hits and 1 walk. So Brewers will try to win the series later this afternoon before hitting the road to take on the Nationals. And it should be another really good pitching matchup. Michael Soroka's going for the Diamondbacks, who is undefeated so far this year, 4-0 with a 2.60 ERA. It's off to a really good start. In 5 games started, 4-0. Brandon Woodruff will get the start for the Brew Crew. So, also yesterday from the Brewers, Jackson Chourio and Andrew Vaughn getting some ABs, some playing time. The Nashville Sounds, Chourio went 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a run. Vaughn 1 for 3. So, first time those 2 players have gotten any action since March. So hopefully it means that they'll be back on track to join the ball club next week. But another player that maybe start to keep our eye on here, Cooper Pratt. Cooper Pratt has been, well, he's been playing well here as of late. And he had another solid game last night for the Nashville Sounds. So could we potentially, maybe, possibly be seeing Cooper Pratt, considering the, I think the lack of production from the left side of the infield? I think that's fair to say, right? But could we maybe potentially see him here rather soonish? But we'll take a look at what he's been doing as of late here too. So, but possibly, maybe, could definitely use him. He's been hitting over 500 in his last 5 games. So could really use him at this point in time. But plenty of Brewers chat coming your way here this morning as we recap last night's loss and look ahead to this afternoon's game. Hopefully a win to win a series before the Brewers hit the road to take on the Nationals starting tomorrow. So what else do we got on the docket here? We'll talk some playoffs. If you're a Wild fan, got a big night tonight, potentially, right? Potentially going to move on in the next round of the Stanley Cup playoffs as they host the Stars. It's going to be a big night just across the border from us because you got the T-Wolves also in action tomorrow here too. So, T-Wolves tonight. So if they win, they will also move on in the NBA playoffs. So we'll throw a little bit of that. We're going to throw a little football chat in here too. I want to ask you Packers fans, okay? Or, again, it's open to any fan base, all right? Of the rookie class, and rookie orientation, rookie camp's actually going to begin here tomorrow for the Packers, May 1st and 2nd. So social media, you'll get your first glimpses of the rookies and undrafted rookies and all that good stuff. But let me ask you this, something that we really didn't touch on. Who do you think needs, that's the key word, needs to be the most important or pivotal or needs to be the rookie that contributes right away for the Packers? I guess it is the most important one. We've talked about who. I think the new kicker Smack is probably going to be, the rookie that potentially gets on the field right away, or be a quote unquote starter, if you will. But which rookie do you think needs to be more impactful? How about that? Which one of those rookies has to be the most impactful rookie? Maybe it's just simple as Brandon Cisse because of the cornerback position. Maybe you're going with the defensive line just to kind of help stop the run. Maybe you're going with the edge rusher from Penn State because you got to get after the quarterback. Or maybe you're going with Trey Smack because he's the kicker. Think about that for a little bit and let me know. All right. We won't have a tailgate outdoors because Jake is turkey hunting. So, Jake, best of luck out there. So, but we'll catch up with him next time. So, also on the docket, it is a Enough is Enough Thursday. So, what's the sports narrative? What's the sports story, or whatever you want to call it? A rumor or talking point where you're just like, man, enough is enough with this. Enough's enough. Let's stop. Hit us up. Best ones we'll read up on the air. Also, we're gonna play a little game time today. Once in a while, we'll do a little game time and such. And let's just call this, it's a numbers game. All right, and I'll tell you what that is when we get to that here in just a little bit. Also, with it being a Takeover Thursday, this is the day where you can act like a producer. Give us a topic that you think is a good topic or you would like to throw out to the rest of the listeners to discuss and chat about, and including us. If you got a good one, you think it's a good one, we're an open book, all right? Send those on over too, whether it's on the Section 105 chat or on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. So there you have it. That's our game plan for us this morning. Let's get things rocking and rolling. Pitter patter. Let's get at her, shall we? We'll get the leadoff going here. We'll talk a little Brewers, talk a little baseball to get things rolling. Looking back at last night's loss for the Brewers. Brewers now sitting at 15-14 on the season, but they have a chance to get the series win today. Should be another good pitching matchup. But maybe help is on the way, or we know help is on the way, but maybe a little bit more help on the way too, because I do want to talk a little bit about Cooper Pratt and even Jesus Mate. I know he's not going to make the big jump there, but got a couple guys here that maybe could add a little bit more help here for the Brewers. So let's lead things off there, shall we? We'll take our first break, and then we've got the leadoff coming up after these quick words. Spring is here, and it is the perfect time for a fresh start and a new ride. Whether you are planning some road trips or tackling some weekend projects, or you're just ready for something new, now is the time to upgrade. And at Toys and Ford, you will find a great selection of trucks, SUVs, and cars built to fit your lifestyle and your budget. Plus, their team is here to make your car buying experience easy and stress-free. This spring, drive something that you love. Toys and Ford, your next adventure starts here. I did C-bomb, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring him up, too. C-bomb with a quick text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line saying, did you see that Made threw a ball across the infield at 100 miles per hour, the only player to do so in the StatCast era, including the major leagues? I saw the video clip, and I got it up again. That was impressive. You know what else might have been impressive, too? Because it was a one-hopper to first base, so the first baseman to pick that might have been that was maybe even a little bit impressive, too, from the first baseman to pick that one-hopper up. But, yeah, that kid's got an arm, man. Holy moly. That's what makes, I think, not to kind of go back to the whole thing, but, the Cooper Pratt extension, shortstop. Obviously, the Brewers view Cooper Pratt as the shortstop of the immediate future. But, man, Jesus Made's got quite the arm on him, too. So, what do you do? Does one of those guys potentially move to third or such? I know it's a little bit little ways away here, but the other thing too, and let me bring up his numbers here for Jesus Made. But when Cooper Pratt is eventually called up to the Brewers here, you kind of have to wonder, is the natural call-up going to be Jesus Made then to AAA to replace him? Right now, so far this season, Made, 2 home runs, 16 RBIs, and a .281 batting average with an .839 OPS. So, yeah. That's pretty darn impressive. And that's what makes this shortstop, whoever's going to be the shortstop of the future here for the Brewers, Cooper Pratt, Jesus Mate, they got options. Jet Williams was in there too, but I feel like maybe now Jet Williams is going to potentially be an outfielder in that. But then you got Fisher with the Timber Rattlers, and obviously we all know his name and such because of the World Baseball Classic and that. But man, he's Jesus Mate's off to a really good start this season too. But we'll get back to him and Cooper Pratt here in just a minute. Last night, the Brewers falling to the Diamondbacks. They jumped out to an early lead thanks to a 1-0 lead and added on another run in the third. But the Diamondbacks putting up 4 runs in the 4th inning, and that was enough. And they never looked back as the Diamondbacks get a 6-2 victory last night. They improved to 16-13. The Brewers falling to 15-14. Brandon Sproat gets charged with the loss. He went 4 1/3, giving up 6 hits, 4 earned runs, did issue a couple walks along with a couple home runs and 5 Ks. But we saw the major league debut of Brian Fitzpatrick, who was called up because Angel Zerpa is now on the injured list, and they're calling it some forearm issues. And I know that's kind of a blanket statement and that, but Pat Murphy didn't sound too optimistic in terms of a quick return for Zerpa. So, I mean, that's obviously very disappointing considering Zerpa's pitched a lot here this year. But Murphy said that Zerpa won't be back anytime soon, and they're doing some additional testing to check the severity of the injury. Pat Murphy calling it a big blow to the bullpen. But Brian Fitzpatrick, he had a 0.00 ERA coming into down in the triple or minor leagues. So making his debut, and I think he looked pretty good last night. And hopefully he can continue to do that if he's going to continue to get some more opportunities and such. But yeah, that we'll have to pay attention to the injury of Zerpa and see how long it's going to it's going to last or keep them out and such. But elsewhere last night's Brewers obviously putting out a right-handed heavy lineup going up against the lefty Rodriguez, and as soon as Rodriguez was pulled, Pat Murphy pulling a lot of his bottom of the order hitters to get them back in. I mean, Mitchell didn't start, Frelick didn't start, Hamilton didn't start, and as soon as Rodriguez came out, Mitchell came in for Jones, Frelick came in for Perkins, and then Hamilton came in for Ortiz. But outside of Terang, who gave the ball club a couple of hits and RBI, and Rengifo gave them a couple hits here too. Not a lot from the offensive side of things, just 6 total hits for the Brew Crew. So RBI is coming from Bowers and Terang last night. So game 1 of the series where the Brewers offense kind of exploded, maybe more specifically in 1 inning. A little bit more quiet last night. So now we get game 3, the rubber match. And on the surface, at least on paper, it looks like it should be a really good pitching matchup between these two ball clubs. I mean, you've got Michael Soroka going for the Diamondbacks and then Brandon Woodruff going for the Brewers. And you got a little bit of experience across the board. Not a ton of experience for the Brewers going up against Michael, but if you're kind of looking at it, you're looking at maybe a game's worth for some of these players. A little bit more experience with the Diamondbacks hitters going up against Brandon Woodruff. I mean, Nolan Arenado's got 19 career bats against him, and he's hitting .211 and 549. Carroll's 8 career bats, 500 with a 1.250 OPS. Marte's got 12 career bats, 333, 929 OPS. So, but you look at Michael, and the start that he has had so far this season for the Diamondbacks. I mean, he is off to a really, really good start in 5 games. 5 games that he has started this year. He is 4-0 with a 2.60 ERA, 34 strikeouts. He's already got a couple games with double-digit strikeouts. He began the season going up against the Tigers, picking up a win, 10 strikeouts. And the other one was against Philadelphia back on April 10th, 10 strikeouts. But he's recently coming off of a no decision going up against the White Sox, where he went 5 innings, and he threw over 100 pitches in that inning, or that game too, but gave up 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. The game prior against Toronto, he went 7 innings, just 2 earned runs. And ironically too, the one game against Philadelphia where he had 10 strikeouts, that was his worst game in terms of earned runs, where he gave up 4 earned runs in that contest. But I mean, this is a guy that's, you look at his games, he's gone at least 90 or more pitches in every game so far in April. His one lone start in March had 89 pitches. So he's a guy that's going to eat up some innings. He's going to eat up, get you through probably on average at least 5, probably even 6. So can the Brewers offense maybe attack and rack up that pitch count against him and get after him? On the flip side, you've got Brandon Woodruff going here for the Crew. And I think when you look at Brandon Woodruff's starts of the season, I mean, he's 2-1 with a 3.77 ERA. We take that with Brandon Woodruff, right? I think we take that. His latest game, he's coming off of a loss against the Pirates, where 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. That was the Paul Skeens perfect game watch on Friday nights. But, I mean, you look at what Brandon Woodruff has done so far this season. I think his lone bad outing that you could say was his no decision against Boston back on the 6th, where he went 5 2/3 and gave up 5 earned runs. He's been a nice, stable presence within this starting rotation so far for the Brewers. But we'll see which offense maybe has the advantage today. Which offense can give this starting rotation some help early, and maybe get that maybe get the opposing starting pitcher out a little bit earlier on with some pitch counts racked up there. So, I have no, this is a good one from C-Bomb. He's got a takeover topic. A takeover topic possibility. What is the coolest or most memorable sporting event that all the listeners have seen live in person? All right. I like that. He says, I have a number of them with Green Bay, a couple with the Brewers, but for me, the most memorable is the Snow Globe game and the following week's NFC Championship. I also have a game that I'll save for a sports confession. All right, well, you got to remember to do that. That's a good one. I've got a couple off the top of my head, too. Yeah, I got a couple. How about the rest of you? Hit me up, okay? 715-830-1912, or hit us up on the Section 105 chat on YouTube. That's a good one. Look at you, C-Bomb, on a Thursday, pulling out a good Takeover Thursday topic. So, all right, we got to take a quick break, but we'll be back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. Just a couple weeks. It's Barbecue Fest at the Northern Wisconsin State Fairgrounds, May 15th through the 16th. I'm going to be over there a little bit on the 16th, hanging out with our good friends at Mike's Star Market. But just head to nwsfa.com for the schedule of events. You've got the backyard griller competition, a cornhole tournament, vendors, live music. Should be a lot of fun. So put it on your calendars. Coming up May 15th through the 16th. 16th is the big day. That's Saturday. And come by, maybe try some amazing barbecue. Who doesn't love that? Such get the smells of the grills going and all that. C-Bomb, come on, dude. I know you're all about that with the smokers and that. Surveyor, the rest of the crew. So, I'll be over there for a little bit on Saturday. But it should be a lot of fun. It's Barbecue Fest coming up just a couple weeks, May 15th through the 16th at the Northern Wisconsin State Fairgrounds in Chippewa Falls. And I'll be there with our good friends from Mike's Star Market. And if you are getting ready you should be already ready for grilling season. But if you're looking for something to put on the grill, look no further than our good friends over at Mike's, whether it's brats, maybe maybe a good steak or maybe some ribs to throw in the smoker too. So. C-Bomb had that really fun topic for a Takeover Thursday. What is the coolest or most memorable sporting event that all the listeners have seen live and in person? You can submit or let us know with a quick text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line or on the Section 105 video chats as well. So let us know. Well, when we get some coming in, we'll share it. And I'm going to hold mine off maybe until closer, maybe just past 7 o'clock over there. But we'll also get the intern Carter's here in a little bit. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good.
You got to be amped up for tonight. A little playoff hockey for the Wild. Should be a good one.
Yeah, at home, chance to close it out.
Yeah. So, we'll. It's going to be a big night just across the border because you got the Timberwolves game tonight there too. So we'll see how that goes. But Brewers-wise, last night not able to get it done as we were kind of talking a little bit about earlier. But, we know help is on the way with Jackson Cheerio and Andrew Vaughn getting some playing time last night with the Nashville Sounds. Their first action since March, but maybe a little bit more help because Cooper Pratt has been actually playing really well as of late at AAA here too. So maybe just, I think we're all kind of watching and patiently maybe twiddling our thumbs and patiently waiting to see when Cooper Pratt could potentially come up because we are getting next to nothing in terms of production from the left side of the infield here. And I mean, this was, from the Nashville Sounds last night, too. Another multi-hit game for him. He's hitting over 500 in his last 5 games and such. So not only Jackson Cheerio and Andrew Vaughn, but could we maybe see Cooper Pratt? And is it Cooper Pratt watch now at this point?
I mean, we need something. I think it's interesting kind of what Pat Murphy's doing with the outfield. I mean, starting Lockridge, Jones, and Perkins isn't going to get you production. And then he immediately pulled him once Rodriguez was out.
Yeah.
It's still interesting to me, though, to start him because they're MLB players. They should be able to work through a left-handed pitcher. So I just didn't get that. But we need production from our infielders. And I don't know. I think he's going to get called up eventually, especially with signing that contract.
Yeah.
I just don't know when.
Yeah. It's going to happen at some point here. And then, it be a lot of pressure on the youngster and I know that was kind of one of the things in his game that they wanted to see him get better at was the offensive side, and they were kind of hoping that the contract extension maybe allows him to kind of be a little bit more relaxed at the plate, I guess is probably the best way to go about it. But given what, now that you have that contract, there's really no excuse. You got to go out there and perform at the highest level now.
Well, especially you got to be able to perform in AAA. Of course, there are MLB pitchers in AAA, but again, if he can be our long-term shortstop, that's, I think, what they want him to be. And if he could come up this year, that's going to be big because Joey Ortiz is hitting 197 and has really never picked up his production from last year.
If anybody's watching the video stream, I apologize. That probably gave everybody seasickness trying to do that while intern was talking. But, yeah, and then, I mean, you got another shortstop who is just playing really well in the minor league system, and that's Jesus Mate. So I would imagine whenever Cooper Pratt is called up that you maybe call up Jesus Mate then to be the AAA shortstop. Dude had a 100-mile-an-hour throw in the infield yesterday. I still say it's even – I'm not saying it's more impressive. It's also impressive that the pitcher or the first baseman was able to pick it up on a one-hop. It was a close one-hop there too. So, but, I mean, that kid's right. That's the thing too. It's like you got Jesus Mate, who's at shortstop, who can – throw that hard, and it's like, but Cooper Pratt's probably going to be the shortstop unless they think one of those guys could play third or so. I don't know, but I don't know if I want, we kind of thought it's Jesus Mate going to be a second baseman, but dude, that guy's got a cannon. I'd feel sorry for whoever's played first, and he just whips over a baseball from second base too. So they got options. That's for sure. But you look at what he's doing so far this year. I'd take those offensive numbers from the left side of the infield. I mean, 839 OPS, 281, couple home runs, 12 stolen bases already too. So,
and I think some of this may be preparing for life without Bryce Terang.
Yeah,
just because he is going to leave. He's outpricing himself from the Brewers with how well he's playing. So maybe one of them moves to second, but like you said, I want to see Mate at short. I mean, he's got the range. Obviously, he's got the arm, and he's played well defensively in Double-A. So yeah, I'd love to see him at at short long term.
He's only 18 yet, too. Is that right? 18 years old. Ooh, man, that's insane. That is just insane. I think Jesus Mate, when you watch, if anybody's watched clips or video of him too. He's bigger than I think what people say. He's over 6 feet tall. And I think when you watch, like, if you were to tell me, I'm like, oh, he's maybe about, 5'10", 5'11". He looks smaller, but he's actually, for 18, and he's probably got even more room to grow, like, some muscle and such, too, which is kind of scary to think about. But he will be 19, actually, next week. All right, happy birthday, early birthday to Jesus Mate, May 8th over there. But yeah, he's bigger than what he looks. I feel like when you watch some of his highlights and that too. So, but what an exciting prospect. It's going to be really interesting to see the Brewers' plan for him, because if he continues to excel and then you give him a contract extension, then it's like, where's he going to play? And I don't think they trade him at all. I mean, if anybody's thinking trade, no, you don't do that. You don't do that.
No.
That. Is it fair to say he's an untouchable at this point?
I think so. I mean, he's the type of player the Red Sox or the Yankees trade to get better, not the Brewers, who don't ever sign anybody. So I'm interested to see if they go to him this offseason and try to get him a contract like Churio, like Pratt. And then if he does get that contract, does he, like Churio, jump from Double-A to the major leagues? I mean, we could see him in the MLB next year. So,
and then, I mean, there could be a trickle-down effect with this whole thing, too. If, Cooper Pratt gets called up, Jesus Mate gets moved up, is it Pena then potentially goes to Double-A and such? So you could have that triple or that effect. Everybody gets called up and moves up a little bit, too. So, but I was kind of hoping to maybe go to a Timber Rattlers game as I'm wearing my Frozen Pizzas hat and see Pena and Fisher, but time might be running out unless they get called up here soon. So, we've got a couple texts here. We've got Tim in the Cooley region saying, I was at the Brewers game when Paul Molitor's hitting streak ended. He was pulled in the 10th inning for Rick Manning, who had a game-winning single. Molitor was one of the first players out of the dugout to congratulate Manning. Of course, Surveyor would go with a rugby pick. Good morning, DK. My most memorable sporting event was watching the Irish squad defeat New Zealand in rugby for the first time ever in Chicago at Soldier Field. Stadium was packed with Irishmen, drunken, song-filled singing Irishmen, which made it that much more fun. International fans have such cool traditions, by the way. That was followed closely by my first Packer game versus Buffalo. What year was that? Then Surveyor Packers Bills. Which one was that? What year? I got to give me a time frame. So think about that a little bit more. This is a Takeover Thursday topic from C-Bomb. What is the most memorable game that you have seen live and in person? I'll tell you one of them, but just because mine relates to this series. Game 5, Brewers Diamondbacks in the 2011 series. Nyjer Morgan with the walk-off. And that was, being there in person was pretty darn cool. The confetti falling down and, And the drive back, not as memorable. We'll just leave it at that because yours truly got a little sick. We'll just leave it at that way because we were in the parking lot waiting for all the fans to leave. As you're traveling, we found out that the Cardinals beat the Phillies, the top seed, and we were going to have home field advantage, and we started talking World Series and jinxed that one big time. So I got another one, though, too, but I'll save that here for a little bit. But let's take a quick break, and we'll start to wrap up the first quarter already on this Thursday morning. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Road trip season is right around the corner. Are you and your vehicle ready to go the distance? Hey, before you hit the highway, make sure that your vehicle is in top shape with the help from AJM Automotive. From oil changes and tire checks to brakes and engine work, their experienced team will make sure that you are ready for wherever the road takes you. And now with 2 convenient locations in Eau Claire, getting your vehicle serviced has never been easier. Plan a trip and AJM Automotive will handle the rest. Just visit ajmautomotiveservices.com to schedule your appointment today. And shout out to John from AJM Automotive. He's got to be feeling pretty good this morning. A proud pop. His daughter picking up her first career win for the Blue Golds yesterday in the Blue Gold softball sweep against UW Stout. So congrats to John's daughter and the Blue Golds for getting the sweep yesterday. Blue Gold baseball falling to Whitewater, but both the Blue Gold baseball team and softball team will wrap up their regular seasons and Stout regular seasons coming up this weekend before we get to WIAC tournament play already starting next week. Surveyor saying it was December 22nd, 2002, 10-0 Packer win. Another texter looks like is it John? Yeah, another John. I think we got a lot of Steves and a lot of Johns. All of you Johns, we're going to have to come up with nicknames for all of you here. So, but John says, good morning. I was at Reggie White's last game in 1998 against the Tennessee Oilers. And I was also at the playoff game against the Giants with my young sons when Aaron Rodgers threw the Hail Mary touchdown to Randall Cobb on the last play going into halftime. So that Reggie White is one player I wish I could have seen play in person. That's one of them on my list there, but keep those coming. Those are some good ones here. So, we got about 10 minutes left here. You got one that pops up to the top of your mind. I know you haven't been to a Packer game yet, so that will be number one when it gets there. But
last year I went to a Brewer game and they were down 8-0 and came back and won. So that's probably mine.
That's a good one.
Yeah. No, it was 2 years ago, not last year, but 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. No,
that was a really fun game for sure.
Absolutely. So, I got a few more. Now it could be events, right? We don't have to just be with games because the draft last year was pretty epic, and being there and being like feet away from the stage and watching was pretty cool. So that would definitely be on there too. But oh man. So all right, keep those coming. Sorry, I need more caffeine. It was a late night last night with baseball and such. So I got to retire from coaching, man. I think I'm going to pull in the. I'm gonna throw the flag or throw the towel. I might have to retire from coaching. But probably the kiddos last night. We fell a little bit short, but that's okay. How's your baseball season going? Have you gotten underway yet? Or
not yet. Waiting for high school to end. So we're just practicing right now. But.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're a couple games in, but I don't know. I might have to. I'm getting too old for this now. So, but no, it was good. Proud of them. Last night we made it close, but just fell a little bit short. Tying run on third, and just fell a little bit short. But that's baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, one of my other ones too, I'd probably throw in there. I mean, the Favre final game. I was actually technically at both of Favre's final games at Lambeau. One as a Packer and one as a Viking. I was at the NFC Championship game 1-2. That was memorable. I still go back to that final one when he was a Vikings and just it was a really good game. It was a close game. I can't get the image out of my mind, the booing when he came on the field and when he walked off the field because he was hurt. So he had to limp across the field from one end to the other. I still remember him giving Donald Driver a hug and like limping the length of the field to a chorus of boos and just thinking, I can't believe what I'm witnessing. That Brett Favre one's in a Vikings uniform, but then the shower of boos because I've seen him come out of that tunnel in introductions. And when this is the thing, when you go to a game, I think is one of the coolest things is player intros, especially the offense, because whether it was Favre, Rodgers, and now Jordan Love, they're the last ones to get introduced. You can't hear Bill Jarch, the public address announcer, finish the intro because it gets so loud in there. And to hear Favre from the Packers side and then the boo side was just like, that's weird. It was really weird. So I'd throw that one on there too for memorable for sure. But and the draft and Final Four too. Those are pretty cool. But keep those coming. Now he's sucking up. C-Bomb says if we're talking events coming up, that I'd put that on there too, doing Radio Row at Super Bowl. But he says if we're talking events coming up to watch you work on Radio Row, getting to rub shoulders with so many legends, got to meet and shake Tony Dungy's hand, met Steve Mariucci, saw the likes of Alvin Kamara, Von Miller, and Deion Sanders, meeting Mike Golick. That was a really cool event, one that I will never forget. I wish they would do something like that again. I don't think they're ever going to, because so many other media members were complaining about the Super Bowl in Minnesota because of the weather. But I think it was really cool to have, and it was congested in there, I will say this, but to have Radio Row at the Mall of America so fans could witness it and almost kind of partake in it. I wish the NFL would do something like that again, because I think it was cool for the fans to experience that, because you literally could walk around the corner and run into somebody. That's, I was working it, but I remember standing in line to Chick-fil-A and like 10 feet to my right I don't know where he was ordering, was Stephen A. ordering something, and then walk around the corner to go to the bathroom, and I literally almost ran over T.O. He probably would have ran over me, but, it's like that stuff, or seeing, who was it? One of the Pittsburgh Steelers Hall of Famers going through Marshall Fields, just like that stuff. And I wish the NFL and even like other pro ones would do something like that, and seeing the fans being able to witness a lot of these people, that'd be cool. Mm-hmm. Because, you could go in and see all that stuff. And I don't think they're ever going to do that again, which is a shame.
Yeah. Even I'm assuming it's free for fans to get in.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Just to watch would be cool. Just to, see who you cheered for growing up, see what icons are there. Yeah.
Yeah. Running into somebody ordering coffee from Starbucks or something like that. Or, Shake Shack was right there too. And a lot of the people would just sit there and grab, even like media members that on TV and such doing their shows. It was a very fan-friendly experience. Now, from people working it, was it the best? Probably not, because it was really congested in there. But at the same time, it was cool to see all these people kind of watching you do your show and such. But yeah, it was just to see them kind of mingling and walking around like a normal everyday person was really cool. Like C-Bomb said, got to, shake hands and talk to these, what you normally couldn't be able to do. So it's a shame. I don't think they'll ever do it again. I wish they would, and I hope I'm wrong, but just from the reaction of everybody there, it doesn't sound like it's going to go back there, which is dumb. The whole cold weather thing is just dumb. Games played inside,
yeah,
and you're inside. That's where, I'll give our friend of the program, Peter King, credit. Because he was not retired at that time, but when he was doing, so what did he do? He's like, I'm going to go ice fishing. So he wrote about it, he has never done it. So he's like, I'll write a story about it. That's what you should be doing, right? Instead of complaining about it, it's like, all right, embrace it and try to do something and make it a story. So, but yeah, dumb, just dumb. So keep those favorite sports memories coming. Hit us up, 715-830-1912. Steve from Altoona says 96 playoff game versus the 49ers in freezing rain. Also playoff game versus the Lions when the Packers held Sanders to -1 yards rushing. I remember watching those games as a youngster, especially the 49ers one. I remember that. The mess of the field and Andre back there for the kick return too. I remember that whole thing. I remember the Sanders holding him to -1 because I remember as a kid using that as our biggest trash talking piece that we held Barry Sanders to -1 yard rushing. So, yeah, I remember that one too. But to be there in person, that would be cool to watch those games. That'd be really cool. But there's been some tough ones I've been at too that are probably memorable in the wrong ways, like an NFC Championship game or anything like that. So I was at when Favre broke the touchdown record. That was cool at the Metrodome to be there. That was cool. So only time I've been to a game where a record's been broken. So Keep them coming. Coming up next hour, I do want to talk a little football. So, Packers fans, or if you're a fan of another team, what would be, or who do you think is the rookie that has to be a contributor, has to perform this year, has to be a big-time contributor for your ball club? Who do you think's maybe in line to be in line to do that, essentially? Also, I want to play a little numbers game here. So this is kind of one of my Takeover Thursday topics, but once in a while we'll do a little game time here. So LeBron did that interview with Michael Jordan, and intern shaking his head, and we touched on it a little bit yesterday. But he made a line or a comment about, I hope I made or represented the number 23 well. So I want to do a little game time. The most iconic numbers in sports, jersey numbers, in each sport: hockey, baseball, basketball, football. Basketball is probably the easiest one. But what is the most iconic jersey number in the other sports, in your opinions? So send them on over. Again, basketball is probably the easiest one. Hockey, I'd say, is pretty close too.
Hockey, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see what the rest of the armchair MVPs have to say. 1 hour in, we got 3 more to go. We got some news updates, and we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Hour 2 kicks off right now, quarter number 2 on this Thursday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start. Hopefully you're up and at it and you're getting your caffeine fix in. I'm going to have to go find some more coffee here in a little bit. Thursdays get a little... That one is Thursday, I would say, is the hardest one when the alarm goes off. Monday, I'm good. Tuesday, I'm okay. Wednesday's like, all right. Thursday's like, oh no. Friday's like, all right, we're almost there. So, and when you have games the night before, it's really long. I appreciate Barb saying you're still a young pup. I don't feel like a young pup. That's the young pup over there. So, all right. Anyways, the most iconic numbers. We've got a 43 for Richard Petty. I didn't even think of NASCAR for car. So would it be 43 for Richard Petty or is it 3 for Dale Earnhardt? I'm not a NASCAR fan. I have a Richard Petty autograph. I should probably donate that for something. But
my dad was a NASCAR fan, and it was always 3.
That's what I thought. Yeah. I thought it would be 3, but maybe it's different for I don't know. But better NASCAR fans can chime in. What's more iconic, 43 or 3? Just kind of a fun. Because I was going back to the LeBron James piece that he was talking about Jordan. And if you're just joining in, what are some of the most iconic numbers, jersey numbers, or in this case, NASCAR numbers too? Because I mean, those are iconic as well. Numbers in sports. Basketball is 23, right?
Yeah.
I think that's 23, signed, sealed, delivered. Hockey's at 99.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 99. You would know more a little bit about it. Like, what would be is there another one that's potentially in the running?
I don't know. Numbers are changing.
Yeah.
So, like, I know star players nowadays are wearing 97.
Okay.
So, it's pretty much 99. But I don't know why it changed at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, like, Kaprizov and McDavid, those guys are now 97.
Okay.
But I think it's 99 for sure.
Maybe to kind of start their own trend sort of thing? Maybe. Because that was always, like, for me, when I was younger, I was always like, man, maybe I don't want that number because I want to create my own. Like that's why, or maybe that's why I always thought about it was weird about LeBron. Like, why would you want 23? Wouldn't you want to create your own legacy with a number? Yeah. You know, like be different in that way. Because when I think of 23, I'm sorry, but I still think of Jordan. Mm-hmm. And part of it is because LeBron went back and forth from 23 to 6. Kobe's had 2, and so
really, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, 8 and 24.
Oh yeah, 8 and 20.
8, 20. I still think of Kobe as 8. That's what I grew up as, as number 8. I'm sure it's probably different for some people, but I still view him as 8. But he was. That's why the Lakers have both of them retired. So, baseball's tough.
Yeah.
Now that one's tough. I think that might be the toughest. Is it 3 for Babe Ruth? Is it maybe maybe people my age? Is it 24 for Griffey? But even, when he was with the Reds, it was different. So
42.
42 for good call. I didn't even think of that because that is the one that's retired.
Oh, and that's one everybody wears on Sunday.
Maybe it is Jackie. Football, I feel like it's 12.
I do too.
I think Brady kind of solidified 12 with, then you have Bradshaw, obviously Rodgers and such. Maybe it was 16 for a little bit. That one you can almost go position because when I think of a wide receiver, I think of 80 as the number. When I think of a defensive back, it's 21. Maybe it depends on the position when it comes to football, what number. But I think it's 12 for the quarterback.
And I think people or players nowadays are kind of trending away from 12. Like Mahomes wears 15, Love wears 10, Stroud wears. I think 10's becoming a big number for quarterbacks. But yeah, 12 is definitely it.
Yeah, I definitely think it's 12. So, but what's the most iconic jersey number in Wisconsin sports history? I think it's 4.
Yeah,
I still think it's 4 for Favre.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of going through. I mean, yeah, you got a few Brewers ones. I mean, if you did it team by team, that makes it a little bit easier because it's probably Robin Yount at 19. Packers, I'd still say is 4. Yeah, you got 15 in there. 12 eventually will be up there. But those 4 jerseys, that thing was branded. If Favre really wanted to, he could probably have branded 4. When I think of a quarterback wearing 4 across the National Football League, there's only one. it's Brett Favre. When it's 12, it's Brady, it's Bradshaw, there's so many you could go through. But yeah, I'd probably go 4. Well, is 34 going to be up there soon for Giannis? I don't know.
I think a lot of it depends.
Yep. So, what other numbers are we maybe missing? You were shaking your head, though, a little earlier when I was bringing up that LeBron. What was it about? What was it about the piece that was making you shake your head a little bit?
When LeBron James said, "I look to pass."
Yeah, I did say that one. Yeah, that was interesting because he's a point forward and he looks to pass where Jordan looks to shoot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wrote a paper on why Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time, and just looking at the stats, it's not even close. And in an era of basketball that we see as clearly towards offensive numbers right now, back when Jordan played, it was for defensive players. To not put up numbers like Jordan, I mean, stop talking. I mean, you're one of the greatest all time. Stop trying to make yourself the greatest of all time. Michael Jordan never did that. You need to stop doing that.
It's interesting and maybe for some kind of refreshing because of your age, you are the LeBron era. I think, with your age and you've only known LeBron James essentially. So to hear you say the GOAT is Jordan and to make the case that it's Jordan, I find kind of, again, interesting and refreshing at the same point in time. What was there something besides? I mean, was it like you're bringing up Jordan's things and the thing that instantly stands out to me? Games played. How many 82s are on that thing? And I loved Jordan's mindset of that, and the quote, which I'm sure you are well aware of. But he talked about there may be that one kid that shows up that wants, paid a lot of money to come see me play. And that was kind of the mindset and such. And I want to just kind of maybe throw this out there too. And maybe for parents who have kids that are in basketball or play basketball. I did it as a kid. Everybody who played basketball did as a kid. You emulated somebody, right? You pretended you were somebody on the court, whether it was in your backyard or in the driveway. You pretended you were somebody, whether it was Jordan with the tongue wag or the turnaround jumper. My kid, who is going to be 9, never watched him play, but when he shoots up shots, he yells, Kobe. Steph Curry has had the biggest influence, I think, right now because everybody wants to chuck up 35-footers. Again, when I was younger, if you were playing center, you probably wanted to be Shaq, even though you weren't going to be 7'1" and 300 pounds probably. I don't know if I've ever heard of a kid, and maybe and my kid is a LeBron fan, but I don't know if I've ever heard of a kid in coaching basketball thing trying to say they're emulating a guy like LeBron James. Now, I'm not saying that's a reason to say that he's not the GOAT, but it's just for a guy of his stature, and he is one of the best of all time. I don't know if I've ever heard of anybody saying, pretending, if you will, to be LeBron James. Because what is it about his game that maybe a youngster would emulate? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, all they're emulating right now is his celebration.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
And it's none of his shots. And I think what I see in that comment is, I mean, LeBron James played with Kyrie Irving. He played with Dwayne Wade. He played with guys that could shoot the lights out. And Michael Jordan played with good players, but Dennis Rodman wasn't going to knock down shots at a constant rate.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't just say he was he's 6-0 in championships. He did something right in his career. So he wasn't just a shot-first player. And like you said, he was 41 and he played 82 games.
Yeah.
LeBron James is 41 and he played 60. That's a 22-game difference. And, I mean, no matter what we say, it's a 22-game difference. And the era in which they play in, LeBron James should be able to play 82 if he was as good as Jordan. Mm-hmm. So another thing is just going through all the videos for my paper, they asked Michael Jordan who's the GOAT, and he can't tell you. He mentions everybody else.
Yep.
If you go ask LeBron James who's the GOAT, he'll say himself because I don't really know why, he just does. And I think that's what sets Jordan apart, where he's like, it's different eras.
Different eras.
I mean, LeBron James is the greatest in his generation. Well, he played a little bit into Jordan's, I guess, but at the back end of his generation. But you can't just it's such a hard discussion on the GOAT of basketball because how basketball has changed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you mentioned LeBron mentions pass first, and yeah, if you look at the assists, yeah, sure. There's a lot of years where LeBron averaged more assists, but I mean, it's not like Jordan averaged 2 assists a game. You're looking at 6. You're looking at 8 and 88, 89, and I think a lot of that though too is. I'm not trying to discredit LeBron James or anything like that too, but okay, who was the next shooter for the Bulls for the longest time of his career? It was Scottie Pippen. Whereas LeBron, as you mentioned, played with Kyrie. Kevin Love during his prime. He's got Luka right now. A lot of those. First of all, he's now Dwayne Wade with the Heat and Chris Bosh. He ain't winning the championship with the Cavs if it's not for Kyrie Irving. And it was a great series. I remember watching it. It was very fun. It was really entertaining. It was awesome. Great plays. But he ain't winning it without Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was awesome in that finals against the Warriors. You got to factor that in too. So to say that, yeah, you probably did pass a little bit more because I'm sorry, you played with more scorers. Jordan had to score. You had Pippen and all. Pippen was more of a defensive guy. Great offensive player. He was a point forward too. He could shoot the 3 net, but Pippen was probably a better defensive player or on par with Jordan. Who was the next leading scorer under, for those Bulls teams back in? It wasn't Dennis Rodman, who was the other Hall of Famer. It wasn't Luke Longley. You had Ron Harper. It was, Coffey coming off the bench, Tony Kukoc and all that. And yeah, sure, some of those guys are Hall of Famers, but are you going to tell me that Tony Kukoc is better than Dwayne Wade? I'm not. I'm not going to tell you that Tony Kukoc is better than Luka or Kyrie Irving and that. No, I'm not. I can't.
Yeah, and I think a little bit of it is, nowadays teams are scoring 130 points in the regular season to where when Michael played, they were scoring 80. So numbers are going to go up and get inflated because they're scoring more. So if back when Michael was playing for the Bulls, if they played 130, I bet he would average about 8 assists. But they had to play defense, so they couldn't just score. And that's where LeBron's debate just drops off, because you can't tell me that the era hasn't changed to where, I watched a little bit of the Lakers Rockets. He's just throwing up threes. And whenever he attacks the paint, he's just getting fouled. And that's good for him because he knows how to play the game, but that wasn't when Jordan played. So.
Jordan, you go through the have you seen the Last Dance documentary on Netflix?
Not yet.
You should. You should. That's probably one of my top 5 favorite documentaries, not just sports of all time. And I'm a big documentary nerd. When we get to like July 4th and that, my minor's history, so I was big like American Revolution. I'm a nerd that way. But top 5, and you'll learn about the Pistons era and how the Jordan rules. The Jordan rules it was very physical. And I'm sorry, LeBron bigger, he could probably, handle that physical. I think LeBron could handle it just because of his size. But at the same time, I think LeBron would complain more about it though too. With the hard fouls.
I think he could take it, but I don't think he'd be still playing. And I don't think he'd put up the numbers he does today. Well, I know he wouldn't, because they could tackle you in the paint. It wouldn't be a foul. So you got to look at it in eras. That's just the way it has to be.
And that's what I was kind of talking about yesterday. The older I've gotten, the more that I've, have bought in or go to the whole, you can't compare different generations type of thing. But if you had to ask me if I had to pick one, if I'm ranking the best, I'm going to go Jordan. And I did not like Jordan as a kid. I was not a Jordan fan. It was straight up jealousy because he kept beating my team. So I didn't want to see him. It's the Tom Brady effect for a lot of people. He kept winning, so you instantly don't like him if he's not on your team, right? It's kind of the same way with the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. It's like, all right, you won enough. It's not my team. Go away, sort of thing. Now, if it's the Packers, well, win every flipping time.
Yeah.
You know, I want it's jealousy. That's what it is from a fan perspective. So. A couple more iconic numbers. 33, Brandon says, in basketball. That was the other one I was kind of thinking of, too. I mean, you got Larry Bird on there. 32 was iconic for me. That was Shaq with Orlando at first, too. But, yeah, 30. I mean, 32, you had a little Magic Johnson in there, but then Kareem, I think, wasn't he 33 for the Lakers? Yeah, he was 30 because 33 for the Lakers, 32 for Magic. That's why Shaq was 34. But yeah, I could see 33. I always, going back to numbers, when I was a kid, I had a weird system because I had a lot of favorite players. So I wanted to be like number 13 because a number represented my favorite players. 1, Penny Hardaway. 3, Shaq. 3 + 1 was 4, Favre. That's how my mind went. 3 - 1 would have been 2, and then you add the 1, Dion, 21. I was all over the place, dude, because I had to have a number that like represented all of my favorite players. But yeah, definitely weird. It started off as 12 because then you flip flop at 21. In my mind too, it was like Dennis Rodman, when he wore a Lakers jersey, it was 73. 7 + 3 was 10, which is what he wore for the Spurs. But it was 12 because then you read 21, flip it around, that sort of thing. But yeah, I was done.
Wow, a lot of math in those numbers.
It was for somebody who hates math and is not good at it. It was ridiculous. So, all right. What else do you have for a takeover topic on this Thursday? If you're just joining in, C-Bomb threw one out in the first hour. Your favorite sporting event live that you watched live and in person. What is it? Send it on over 715-830-1912, or you can comment on the Section 105 chat room. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back after these few words. Today's the day for the Hy-Vee springtime party. Got a vendor fair going on featuring Superior Fresh Olson's Ice Cream, Red Apple, Burnett Dairy, Farmer Boy Creamery. A lot going on. 30 or more local items being sampled. So also we've got the fresh salmon cutting events going on at Hy-Vee today from 4 to 7 p.m. from Fresh Salmon in Hickston, Wisconsin. So it's the Hy-Vee springtime party going on today, going on tonight. So if you want a chance to sample and try a bunch of different local samples from many local vendors, head on over to Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. When we were talking a little bit about what do kids learn from LeBron and such, our one of our listeners, Hetch, had said falling down and crying. So I'll buy that. Heck yeah, I would buy that. The one player that I think, and I think more people are more in tune to him though too, but I mentioned him. The one player I think, and I think you could almost convince me, and I'm kind of leaning towards there, that deserves to be more mentioned in this best of all time, Kobe. Because he was stuck. He literally was in the middle of the Jordan and LeBron era. He played against Jordan at the back end. And then obviously with LeBron. And again, I'll admit, I was not a Kobe fan when I was younger because I was a Shaq fan. So when it was the Shaq and Kobe, kind of butting heads with the Lakers, I was Team Shaq. And I was like, Kobe's a ball hog, get it to Shaq. So I was always Team Shaq. But man, I got to tell you, when I got older and, reading his Mamba Mentality book and then I got it on my shelf in the man cave, I've gotten a greater appreciation, kind of like what I was with Jordan when I was not a fan of him as a kid because I was a Penny Hardaway fan and I was a Shaq fan and, Orlando Magic. So one of my great memories, I'm sorry, Hetch is a big Jordan fan too, was Nick Anderson stealing the ball from Jordan in the playoffs. Was it the 95 playoffs? And I still replay that in my mind. It was awesome, but Nick Anderson can't make free throws in the finals against the Rockets, so there goes that dream. But Kobe, that's why sometimes now when I see these AI things on Facebook, it says, the other one I saw the other day was like, they had 5 players, and Jordan was like standing up and it said, who you kicking out so Jordan can sit down on the airplane? And it was like Kobe, LeBron, Larry, Shaq, and all that. And I'm like, I'm keeping Kobe, I think, on there for sure. I would have loved, and I know they played against each other, but somehow, some way, if those two could have played on the same team for 1 year, how that would have gone to see those two alpha males. That, to me, Kobe is more Jordan than LeBron is.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah, that may not have worked just because of that. The one thing I do respect about Kobe is he was on the Lakers his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. Like Curry's the Warriors whole career. So, but yeah, 4 years he averaged 40 minutes. It's impressive.
And I know there was the rumblings. There's those stories I remember watching on ESPN. It was before social media. He might have been traded to Chicago. There was talk about the Clippers, but he ended up staying. And it was during some times too where the Lakers were not good. They were not good. And I know everybody likes to knock down. I don't want to say these are LeBron fans or anything like that. I don't want to, call that out. But I remember too going, again when I was younger, everybody kind of knocked Jordan and those Lakers teams because Phil Jackson was coach. But I'm like, what were they doing before Phil got there? And I think for a lot of the personalities, too, that you have to manage, that's what makes Phil Jackson even more impressive and a better coach. Not many coaches, could probably handle the egos and the mentalities and the alpha males of a Jordan, Pippen, and Dennis Rodman, and then go to the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe and handle that, and then come back to the Lakers with Kobe at the back end of his career, kind of, sort of, Paul Gasol in that. That to me is really impressive. And I think people just like, oh, you had great players. To manage and to coach those, it takes a lot. And probably, again, watch The Last Dance and you'll get a good glimpse of that too. So,
do you think the finals between the Warriors and the Cavs. Do you think that was the last time we saw basketball from the old days?
That's a good question. Man, because I'll be honest, that's one of the last, besides the Bucks finals, if I take away the Bucks Phoenix one, that Warriors and Cavs final, that's a good question.
That was a fun series to watch, and it really, I mean, that's all I remember from besides the Bucks from finals. So,
gosh, that was such a fun finals too. Even that was that the same year? I think it was the Thunder Western Conference Finals. Is that when they went against the Warriors? I think, and the Thunder had the lead in that series. But that was a fun. I'll have to double check it. But we've got Surveyor really quick says, who is a player that you couldn't stand when your team played them? Is this another Takeover Thursday question? I think that's a good one. He's got Ndamukong Suh, Warren Sapp, and Chris Hovan. Man, I hated those guys, but if I had to choose one, it would be Chris Hovan. I remember the old Hovan Vikings days. Didn't he, Surveyor, refresh my mind, didn't he have a Favre jersey in his locker with Minnesota? I think that he had that. I think that was the case. Oh, gosh, there's probably a lot of players that I could think of right now that I couldn't stand. I'll have to come up with a list. But did you find, was it
2016 or OKC?
Okay, so it was. All right, I thought that's what the case. Okay, we've got. Is it Mad Crusher? Is that the name we're going by? Mad Crusher from EC, 33 Ron Dane. Okay, going to the iconic jersey numbers or iconic numbers in sports history. So, tell you what, we got to take a quick break because we're getting off on tangents, but that's what Thursdays are about, having these kind of fun conversations. So, Surveyor's got another Takeover Thursday question. Who are the players that maybe your favorite team went up against that you just could not stand? That's a good one. I got to think about that a little bit. All right. We'll take a quick break and be right back after these. Can it be coaches, too? Because there's some coaches I just could not stand on the sidelines. So, all right, we'll take a quick break and be right back in just a couple minutes. Spring is here, and that means it is the perfect time to freshen up your home. And at Carpet City Flooring Center, now is the season to take a look at what's under your feet and imagine what it could be. From soft, comfortable carpet that makes any room feel cozier to luxury vinyl planks and tile built for busy homes, there's something for every space, every budget, and every lifestyle. Maybe it's one room that needs a refresh, or maybe it's time for a full home update. Either way, their team is there to help guide you through it all, from choosing the right style to professional installation that you can count on. Because spring isn't just about cleaning out the old, it's about bringing in something better, a brighter space, a cleaner look, a home that feels new again. So if you're ready to upgrade this season, stop in and see what's possible. Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire, where your next project starts from the floor up. What do we got? Let's do some more Takeover Thursday questions. So for Mr. Intern Carter, you ask, let's do your second one. Should the Packers have prioritized offense more in the draft? Well, first of all, before we get to that, what did you think of the draft overall?
I thought it was their best draft in a long time.
Okay.
Now, obviously, that's hard to do without take it with a grain of salt because they have no first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
But the value they got in rounds in Cisse, and Sutton, I think, were impressive. Their kicker, I just like that they drafted a kicker, to be honest. It shows their urgency in that position. And I thought they filled some holes in their game, but I still have more questions for this team.
Okay, what are those questions? Is that on the offensive side?
Yeah,
okay.
like, what if Josh Jacobs goes down?
That is honestly, the other day, was it yesterday? I think we were talking about now that the draft is over with and you see the depth chart, what is the position group that maybe you have the biggest question at? And I keep going to running back because there is, what if something happens to Josh Jacobs? Marshawn always got tail, but we can't, availability, we don't know. We don't know yet. There is no Emmanuel Wilson, who's got a lot more experience now. Yes, Chris Brooks has been in the league for a few years, but it is a big old question mark. And even I would say backup tackle, offensive line. Yeah, they got one interior guy from the draft that I think could eventually be a starter. But what happens if you have an injury to one of your tackle positions? I'm pretty worried about that at this point.
Well, and I'd throw in wide receiver. I loved the Jaden Reed contract. I think they'll eventually get one done with Watson, but that doesn't have depth. And right now, Savion's your fourth best receiver. And, I mean, he was okay last year, but he never really flashed. And if you get two receivers hurt, because Reed and Watson really haven't shown they can stay healthy, then Sky Moore's your five. And Sky Moore has not proven it on a level. So, again, I like the draft, but I'm wondering if they're going to do anything with running back and receiver because they don't have the depth that I think they need to have.
Yeah, you kind of look at different positions and such, and you can kind of – is there one maybe that you feel better about now after the draft?
Corner.
Okay.
I was really nervous going into the year with corner, and obviously Cisse is going to start, but Damani Jackson played well at Alabama. He's an SEC starter, and I think he's drafted for special teams, but I think if you need him as a depth piece, he could perform well. So I feel much better about that. And edge rusher. I mean, Denai Sutton shouldn't have been there in the fifth round. I think we had him in the fifth round.
Yeah. Fourth round.
Fourth round.
Yeah.
So I really like that pick, and I think our edge rusher depth is now good again.
Yeah, the Denai one, I don't think, because I thought edge rusher would have been maybe a spot that they didn't address, but I think him sitting there at the fourth round, and Goody's like, is that really maybe happening? Denai's like there. You had to take him at that point. And I don't know if that would affect it, because time's running out on a Lucas Van Ness fifth-year option. Tomorrow's the deadline, and still we have not heard. Did that pick almost maybe kind of pump the brakes on it a little bit? I don't know.
Yeah.
They drafted Colin Oliver last year and Baron Sorrell, so we'll see. We'll see. But
and it's kind of how the draft falls. I think. I mean, the guy that they were saying the Packers could get in the seventh round, Kalen Black, went in the fourth. the running back out of Indiana. So it's kind of how the draft fell. Wide receivers went early in the second round. There was a run on them. So I don't think we should have drafted one. Well, maybe in the 7th round, but you traded for a kicker. So I just think whether through free agency or a trade, I think you have to add a running back. And I think they'll be set at receiver. I don't see them moving at any moves at any receiver, but I do think they still need to add a running back.
Yeah. So of the rookies, though, and anybody can chime in on this too, please give us your takes. Of the rookies, who do you think is got to be the one that has to have the biggest impact this year?
I think it's Cisse.
Yeah.
He's going to be your number one corner.
You think number one, or maybe Keyshawn opens up with that just by default?
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
True. So I think, but
he's got a shot. I mean, he's going to get a shot to be the number 2 at least when camp opens. And I think he's got a really good shot to get that job.
Yeah.
Because it's Carrington Valentine or say Juice.
Exactly.
Right now.
And if we don't have to see Carrington starting, that would be ideal for sure.
I think the biggest thing that they did with these corners, and just at least in my opinion, is compared to last year, they got a couple corners that are a little bit more physical, a little bit more athletic. Keyshawn's athletic as such, but I think, how many we're probably like having flashbacks of how many missed tackles Carrington had, especially like on wide receiver screens, and he just completely whiffed on them. I think with these two corners, they're bringing a little bit more physicality to it. I think that, just in my opinion, but yeah, I would agree. I think it's, and I know a lot of people are like, well, it's got to be the first pick of whatever one, first round, second round. And yeah, okay, I get to that point, but I think Cisse, just considering the big need that we had and him coming in there, he's got to be the guy.
And I think the second player is Smack.
Yeah,
the kicker.
I would agree.
So It's not just because he's high. It's just because we needed a corner and we got it. So
yeah, I think Trey Smack is probably the rookie that maybe early on the biggest contributor, because you don't trade up for a kicker without him like already being the leader in the clubhouse to be your opening day kicker. You especially for a team and Goody who wants as many picks possible to trade up and now end up with just 6 in a draft. You don't make that move without the thought that, okay, he's going to be our leader for kicker.
And there's running backs in the 6th round or 7th round.
Right.
So he definitely wanted the kicker. So
yeah. So I think, let's be honest, kickers make me nervous because we don't know how it's going to perform, right? And we've been down this the last few years ever since. It goes back to last week, your pick for most underrated Packers pick of all time with Mason Crosby. Just how important it is to have a long-term solution at kicker, and maybe Trey Smack can be that guy.
Yeah, I read a stat. We have had 15 kickers since Mason Crosby. 15
You're kidding me.
kickers.
15? That's a good trivia question. Can you name all 15 of them? I don't think I can. I don't even know if I can get to 10. 15 kickers since Mason? Holy moly.
I think that's all kickers, so plus practice squad, but
still.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, there's Narvison, there's Anders, there's McManus. The dude that I just blanked in that filled in a little bit last year.
Haversick,
thank you. And then the guy that they had in from Minnesota, Carlson's brother.
Greg Joseph.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh man. Now we're going down that list, and it's like, okay, maybe we can get up to 15. Wow. That's insane to think about that. All right, we got to take a final break here, and then we're going to be at halftime. So a couple of if you have any more Takeover Thursday questions, you got a topic that you want to throw out, even if it's kind of a nostalgia topic. Surveyor threw one out there, the player that you couldn't stand when your team played them. I could think of some college basketball players. The Aaron Crafts of the world, or name any Duke from the early 2000s or 90s. But if you got a player that you just, I'm going to add coaches to it too, because for the longest time I was like Jim Schwartz when he was with the Lions, I couldn't stand. Harbaugh when he was with the 49ers, I couldn't stand either. Just, I don't know why. Just Tony La Russa with the Cardinals, no. But got one of those. And then C-Bomb in the first hour said best or your favorite, I should say, favorite sporting event that you have attended live in person. Make your picks, and if you have any other suggestions for a Takeover Thursday topic, send them on over. We would love to hear it. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes to wrap up the second hour. It's getaway day today for the Brew Crew as they'll wrap up their series with the Diamondbacks. 12:40 first pitch. Coverage will begin at 12:05 on the radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. So Brandon Woodruff is going to get the start for the Crew. But if we look at this pitching matchup, Soraka's over there too. He's 4-0 to begin the season. So should be at least on paper, a decent pitching matchup. It's just which offense is going to actually support the other. Right now, it might be Diamondbacks' offense is a little bit better, I would say, statistically and numbers-wise than the Brewers in that. But, hey, maybe they can pull another rabbit out of their hat and put up 12 runs like they did in the first game of this series. So, but then the Brewers will travel and take on the Nationals again for the second time this year. That series will start tomorrow. But when you look at, obviously good news yesterday for Jackson Churio and Andrew Vaughn getting some reps in, and it sounds like they'll be back with the ball club as early as next week, the beginning of next week possibly. So no offense to Vaughn, but I think probably the player that we're all anxious to get back is got to be Jackson Churio, right? And I'm a little bit nervous. Are we going to be putting a lot on the shoulders of him because he hasn't played a game yet for the Brewers here? He did play, obviously, in the World Baseball Classic in spring training, but at the same time, if you are the superstar or the best player, you got to pressure is a privilege, right? As the quote likes to say. But it'd be nice if he can hit the ground running and help out this ball club.
As long as he just plays every day. I mean, if we cannot play both Perkins and Lockridge, that would be ideal.
I think he's got to be probably left field and then Mitchell in center, right? Depending on, obviously, pitching matchups and such. And I could see if they go up against a lefty, then Chirio's probably going to get the start in center, as we could see Garrett Mitchell do the lefty-righty sort of thing. But, Bryce Terang was able to figure out how to hit left-handed pitching, and he stays in the lineup. So it'd be nice if some of these guys could figure that out and just be consistent presences within this lineup.
But at the same time, I mean, you can't figure out unless you play.
That's true,
and Pat Murphy didn't play him last night.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know why. I would be interested to hear his reasoning for that. If it is just that matchup isn't good for them. But, I mean, they're MLB players. They should be playing almost every day if they're healthy. And Sal Frelick and Garrett Mitchell both didn't play last night. And I don't really know why, because they both came in the fifth inning, I believe. And
after the pitching change, yeah.
So I don't understand why he didn't just start them.
I think it's just straight up the mat. And honestly, if they were having probably a little bit more consistent or better seasons, because Frelick, even though he is the GOAT, has been struggling a little bit. I think if they were consistently, like if Frelick is hitting maybe 300 or 280 or 290, maybe he stays in. The Garrett Mitchell one, maybe for me a little bit is, if he's having a great season like Pat Murphy says, do you give him that? But they're it's an advanced statistic thing. It does shy away a little bit differently when he gave Bryce Terang the opportunity his second year. Say, hey, prove it to us, and well, he did, and then he's continued to get better and better. So maybe, I don't know, but I think once everybody's back, maybe we'll have a little bit more of a settled lineup at that point. Hopefully. But let's get Jackson back. Yeah. We need Jackson. So, Angel Zerpa is going to be, he is on the injured list. And it sounds like he might be there for a while. It is a highly concerning forearm tightness that Pat Murphy and the Brewers are describing. So, I mean, that does take a hit to the bullpen. This is a guy that has pitched a lot this year, but Fitzpatrick looked good. And honestly, I feel like this is a team. They got the depth, not to take away anything from Zerpa and such, but at least that's a position where if Quinn Priester can figure out locations, maybe he comes into the bullpen or something. But I feel like right now they're still in good shape from a depth purpose at that spot.
Yeah, it's interesting how many starters they have compared to relievers. And it's interesting that they called up Fitzpatrick just because, I mean, Logan Henderson is still in AAA. And I get you need a bullpen pitcher, but I didn't know if they'd maybe send Patrick to the bullpen or like Sproat to the bullpen and call up Henderson. But
yeah, but I mean, Fitzpatrick had was it zeros across the board?
10,
ERA
10
too.
the third in AAA, no runs allowed.
Yeah, so you got a litter that you could pick from. That's not always a bad thing when you have too much depth there, and it probably is kind of a game too of how many times you call up. Remember, we gotta call up this one, then you take away, that sort of thing. That factors into it all, which God bless whoever keeps track of that stuff, because it's like salary caps. I don't know how you guys can figure it out. Whatever reason, I like trying to figure that out, but there's the whole way deep down bonuses and all that fact. Holy moly, you math people, I don't get it, how you can figure that thing out. So, all right, we just got about a minute left to the top of the hour, so we are approaching halftime here. We'll talk some more baseball as we get set for Game 3 of the Brewers today, this afternoon, just in actually a few hours from now. So We'll get back to that. We got a little enough is enough. What's the sports topic, sports story, narrative out there where you're just like, enough is enough? I think I already know intern Carter's probably like LeBron James. Enough is enough, LeBron. So if you got any other ones out there, let us know. All right. Let us know. Hit us up. If you got a Takeover Thursday topic like Surveyor and C-Bomb have thrown out there, we'd love to hear from you too. And a little game time. We're just having some fun. What are some of the most iconic numbers, jersey numbers in sports, or in this case too, for some people that have mentioned NASCAR numbers, because I'd qualify that too. So iconic jersey numbers, throw them out there. 23. Is that, how about if we said this overall? What is the most iconic sports number of all time? Is it still 2-3? Is that the most iconic? We'll take a quick break because we've got news updates. Ponder that for a little bit, and we'll be right back to kick off the third quarter in just a couple minutes. Quarter number 3 is kicking off right now on this Thursday morning, the final day of April, believe it or not, because we turn the calendar and it's going to be May, although it's going to feel like fall weather as we open up the month of May. So get ready for the Justin Timberlake memes all over. It's going to be May. Do you know what that is? The song, whatever was it? It's going to be me or something like that, but everybody's like, going to be May. Whatever. It's probably between me and you. No, it is probably my generation, which is embarrassing. So, but anyways, thanks for hanging out with us here this morning. No outdoors chat with Jake, even with the opener of fishing season coming up on Saturday. I got a text from him at 3 a.m. He's going turkey hunting. So hopefully, save some for me. I haven't gone out yet there, dude. And this is like your second time, man. So, but if you got any questions for Jake, you'll have to save them for the next time we chat with him. But it is a good reminder that if you have any luck, whether it's fishing or turkey hunting, send those pictures on over to the Sports Talk Facebook page so that we can post those up for a little brag board action. All right. What is the most iconic number in all of sports? Kind of a Takeover Thursday topic that we're throwing out there. So we talked about it for each sport. Some of the most iconic ones. I think we settle on 42 for baseball because of Jackie Robinson, right? I think that's probably the safe one. I shouldn't say safe, but the most. Yeah, that's the. Yeah, it's so hard when you talk about the best player of all time, 3 Babe Ruth, but then that's a difficult one because you go pitchers and that. 23. For basketball, 99, 97 for hockey. Football, I think we decided on 12 for quarterbacks and such. Now, if we did all across sports, is it still 2-3? I think it's still 2-3.
I do too.
I think 2-3 is the most iconic sports number of all time. Because, I don't know, I think when I think of a jersey or just a number, it's 2-3. It's as much as it bugs me to say that, I shouldn't say bugs me because now I used to wear 2-3-2, but I think that's the most iconic jersey number of all time. And it's still kind of weird to say that Jordan wore 45 for a hot minute, when he came back from his second retirement. But yeah, I think it's got to be 23. What would be the second one then, do you think? Of any sport?
Oh boy.
And maybe this is where we got to think about, okay, some of the players. So is it 12? Okay, list all the players who wore 12. A lot of them are probably going to be football, right?
Yeah.
Heck, even Jordan wore 12 for when his jersey got stolen for one game. Because I have the card. I think it's a Sam Vincent card. He's wearing a 12 jersey for crying out loud. So if you want to put that one on there, you could. Maybe it is 42 with Jackie. Is that the second most iconic one?
See, like what I think of when I think of numbers is definitely 23, but it's hard because it depends on the sport almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like the NFL is so popular that it's like, well, you should think of an NFL number.
Yeah.
But I'd probably say baseball I would say 42 over 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a movie title, so right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking straight up jersey numbers, so not like stat-wise numbers or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean 8. I think 8 for a little bit in the 90s because you had Aikman, you had Young. At least when I was growing up, those were 8, and then you throw a little Kobe in with 8s on there. I'm trying to think of some, and you would think like some of the numbers like 1 or something like would be popular. So don't wear 0 if you're in the NBA because you're going to tear your Achilles right now. That's kind of the trend here at this point. 3 Babe Ruth, Dale Earnhardt. If we go NASCAR, you throw that one in there. Yeah, I think there's a huge gap. 23, a little bit of gap, 42, and then bigger gap for what's next. But yeah, I think 2-3's got to be the most iconic jersey number of all time. Got to be. And then you think about, I'd probably throw 99 in there though too for hockey. Pretty close. Just
Yeah.
It's hard because I can't think of another really number 23 in another sport, though.
No, that's why it kind of depends on the sport.
But I think that's also kind of tells you how iconic it is if you can't really think of another player from another sport off the tip of your tongue, and maybe unless you're a diehard fan of that guy wore 23 in football.
Well, for me, I can't even think of a ton of players besides Jordan and LeBron that wore 23.
The only other one I could think of was Jair.
Yeah.
for Green Bay. It was 23 just right off the top of my head. I'm sure if I looked it up, I'd be like, oh, crap, I forgot that guy wore it. Even baseball. What's the most iconic player to wear 23 in baseball? Let me look it up once. Best player in baseball to wear 23. Sandberg from the Cubs. Nelson Cruz, Kyle Tucker, Don Mattingly. Okay. What about football?
Marshawn Lynch.
Devin Hester did. Weird couple Chicago people now. David Beckham wore 23 for Real Madrid and LA Galaxy as a nod to Michael Jordan. There you have it.
Yeah.
So Christian McCaffrey, 23. Yeah, 23 is the most iconic number in sports. There's no question about it. And isn't it funny that it's still, we think of it because of Jordan. It's not LeBron, even though that says Michael and LeBron. It's Jordan. And the thing is, we know why LeBron had to wear 6 when he went to Miami, right? Do you know why?
I don't.
Pat Riley with Miami retired 23 because of Jordan. So that's how the 6 thing kind of started. And that goes back to my thing. I'm like, I don't know if I was blessed with great athletic skills and I was coming into a league and I was already being crowned as, one of the best players of all time, which LeBron was. I remember watching his high school game on ESPN. I'd want to make my own number. I want to make my own number great. But can you click on that, the best to wear 23, who you got on that Facebook one? It's right to the right there.
Oh, yeah.
The last one there. Is that just a Facebook? Oh, it's okay. Yeah. MJ. Mm-hmm. I love the one comment. This is a rage bait question. Stop, get help. Yeah. All right. I do wonder if Ken Griffey Jr., the 24 that Griffey Jr. wore, if he would have not gotten hurt, continued to wear that, just from because he was kind of, 90s too, maybe similar in pop culture, sports culture too, if that would have caught on more with Griffey for 24. Because then you can go, really? 24, if you want to break it down, Kobe at the back end. Because Griffey wore 24. Now I'm self-doubting for the Mariners. Right? He wore 24. Yeah, 24. Okay. Jeff Gordon, if you want to go NASCAR. Oh, look at that list. See, that's not even a good list. There's names on there for 2, 3, but yeah, no, come on. Barry Bonds wore 24, I think. So maybe, yeah, all right. So, anywho, continue to send us some of your Takeover Thursday topics if you want to chime in here. So, we got some Stanley Cup playoff hockey. Got the Wild in action. It's a big night for our friends just across the border here. You've got hockey, and then they got to hurry up and get over and watch some Timberwolves because puck drops. Is it 6:30 tonight for the Wild and Stars? And I think it's an 8:30 tip time for the T-Wolves in that. But you being our resident Wild fan, are they going to get it done tonight? You think they can get it done tonight? So
I don't. I think this goes 7. At the beginning of the series, I picked the Wild to win in 7. I still think the Wild win in 7.
Okay.
They've proven they can win in Dallas, so I'm not concerned at all. This series has been so fun to watch. It's a shame it has to end in round 1, but it's been fun. So.
Mm-hmm. Has there been any surprises for you so far in these Stanley Cup playoffs? Maybe how a team's been performing or lack of performance?
The Ducks going up 3-1 on the Oilers definitely surprised me. I didn't think they were quite ready to contend. They're good. They're young, but I didn't think they were ready. And then the Flyers, I mean, they almost swept the Penguins. Again, they're a young team. Didn't know if they were quite ready to contend. They were able to finish them off last night. But other than that, it's been a lot of teams. It's been a lot of good series. I mean, Golden Knights and Mammoth, that's a 3-2. Canadiens Lightning's a 3-2. Wild Stars is a 3-2. So we're getting a lot of good series. But like the Avalanche winning in 4 and the Hurricanes winning in 4 is just chalk.
Yeah.
So,
Is Utah, you mentioned the Mammoth there too, just how well they're kind of, I know they're down 3-2, but the fact that they're still in the series, is that still kind of surprising?
yeah, I think a lot of the world is figuring out who Utah Mammoth are. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been cool to see guys like Logan Cooley stepping up and Dylan Gunther stepping up. So again, that series isn't over. I mean, the Mammoth have played well. They came back. They were down in this double overtime game. They were down 3-0, came back, forced overtime, ended up losing. But I mean, all these teams can pull off upsets. It's one thing about hockey is if your goaltender gets hot, it's hard to beat you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be fun to watch the rest of these series.
Yeah. Stanley Cup playoff hockey is one of the best things. Even if you're not a normal hockey fan, where you're like a diehard hockey fan in the regular season, I feel like everybody kind of comes together when it's Stanley Cup playoff hockey.
I mean, even the Sabres. I mean,
Yeah.
that fan base hasn't been in the playoffs in so long, and every game there is electric. So
I was going to say, if they win this thing now, I feel like there's going to be a lot of, Bills Mafia maybe be coming out and with Buffalo Sabres and such. And I don't know if they do the whole folding table, breaking it down and light whatever the heck the Bills now do with their tailgate parties and such. But and then on the flip side, we've got the NBA playoffs continuing tonight, where the Timberwolves looking to advance. They're going to have to do it, obviously, without Anthony Edwards and I was going to say Luka Doncic, Dante DiVincenzo. But this is kind of, these two teams, you can tell there's the rivalry between them, and that's what makes this series kind of fun too, because I go into it thinking, okay, who's going to cause a little bit of drama now? Is it going to be the Joker again? This little tiff back and forth between the two. So, but we'll see. I even without Anthony Edwards, I think the T-Wolves can do it. It'll be tougher. You'd rather have Anthony Edwards, but being at home, I think if the Timberwolves were going to advance, they got to win tonight.
yeah, I was just about to say that tonight's got to be the night. Without two of your star players, tonight's got to be the night. At home, feed off the energy. Yeah.
Yep, tonight. So, come on, Orlando. I know they're tomorrow, but I still have a soft spot in my heart for the match. I just hope the Tracy McGrady curse doesn't come back. When he famously said, when Orlando as an 8 seed, we're up 3-1 against the Pistons in the playoffs. It feels good to be in the second round, and then the Pistons won the next 3. So let's hope the Tracy McGrady curse does not come back to bite us in the butt. So, all right, let's take a quick break. Plenty more to get to here this morning. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Big day on Saturday going on at the VFW Post 305. Come out this Saturday at 3 p.m. for meat raffle to help raise funds to support the American Legion baseball team. So who doesn't love a good meat raffle in the great state of Wisconsin? Again, that's happening at 3 p.m. And then right after that, 4 p.m., you've got the Derby party. So please come watch the race with the VFW Post at 305. They'll be featuring food and drink specials along with fabulous prizes for the top 3 Derby hats. Hats are optional, but a busy Saturday coming up this Saturday at the VFW Post 305. And again, that meat raffle starts at 3 p.m. to help support American Legion baseball. It is a little bit enough is enough. Or it is enough Thursday. Is it fair to say for intern Carter, your enough is enough with LeBron just talking
Yes.
at this point?
Yes.
Say enough is enough with it. Is it enough is enough with the whole LeBron, Jordan debates sort of thing? I mean, the beauty thing in this, though, too, is it may annoy a lot of people that it still gets talked about in that. We don't really know what the true answer is. That's the beauty thing in sports, right? It's that we can have these debates and we can go and we can look at numbers, we can look at championships, we can look at stats, we can look at this, we can look at that, and everybody's got an opinion. And the fact is we really don't know what the true answer is, right?
Yeah.
So I still go Michael. My kid, unfortunately, goes LeBron, but maybe he'll grow up and figure it out after that. So, but still can't get him to just come to the other side. I saw the light, obviously. So I remember I was in 5th grade. My teacher, Mrs. Coyle, her and her husband were huge Bulls fans. He was Jordan. She was Dennis. But she had a Jordan and a Rodman poster up in her classroom. And this was at the height of like Penny. And I remember, they were like big card collectors too. And I remember I had a price guide that had Penny Hardaway on the cover. And it said the next Jordan. And I remember bringing it to class and like say, see, this is why Jordan's not good. He's, Penton, that never worked out. But there's another what if of players getting hurt and such. So, but who is we had a Takeover Thursday question that from C-Bomb earlier in the first hour that said, what is your favorite sporting event that you have seen live and in person? And one message I forgot to get to a little bit earlier, and I want to get to here. It was from Mark, because somebody had mentioned seeing Reggie White's final game, and Mark had said earlier that I was also at Reggie White's last game at Lambeau. It was my oldest son, who is now a football coach's first Packer game on that snowy day. The game is not that memorable, but what happened after is Reggie going all the way around the stadium, high-fiving the fans in the front row. I'll never forget my son standing on our bleachers while that was going on with tears streaming down, saying to me, Dad, I don't want Reggie to retire. I said, I don't either, Nate. Thanks to the listener who brought up that game a few minutes ago, reminding me of that memory for me. And Reggie is definitely a player I wish I could have seen in person. Michael is another one. I've not seen Tiger Golf. Those are probably of the athletes that were around when I was alive and played while I was alive. I'm alive. Shouldn't say was. I'm alive, hopefully for a while, that I wish I could see. Is there an athlete that you wish you could see play in person?
I mean, Reggie White, Brett Favre is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just athletes I could see, period, even if it's on TV. In person, I don't know if it changes much. I'd still go old school for most of them.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan would be cool to watch. I'd love to see Kobe. But yeah, most of those guys.
Yeah, I know the whole debate when Kobe we knew it was the final year and, was kind of doing his farewell tour and people were debating because price, depending on where he was going, ticket prices were up and, the final chance to see Kobe and that. And people were like, well, why would you pay all that money when it's not the Kobe of his peak? And I think, if you haven't seen the athlete play and you have the income to do it, Like, I wish I could have been able to go watch just to say, I think it's just for a lot of people to say, I got to see them play. Like, I got to see Brady play in person one time, and all right, I got to see it. So I could say I saw it. I've seen Favre play a few times in person, and Rodgers and those guys too. So it's just, I think it's more of it's a personal type of, feeling that I got to see these guys or gals or whoever play in person. It's more meaning of that. So.
In person, here's another one, the Legion of Boom.
Oh,
that defense was so fun to watch.
Except for when they were doing it against Green Bay.
Yes.
But okay. Well, that kind of maybe goes to the other question from Surveyor: who's the athletes that you couldn't stand? And for a hot minute, it was Richard Sherman for a lot of people. Part of that Legion of Boom. That would be one. I'm trying to think of some other players. Kind of play. I mean, Dante Culpepper I was never a fan of. I just no. He no. I didn't like the whole roll-in thing, but again, that's what you get from rival teams, right? They're supposed to annoy you. Rival teams and rival players are supposed to annoy you. So I think that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to think if there was somebody or a team from I wouldn't consider a rival that I just did not like. Like Caleb Williams probably annoys a lot of people right now for the Packers, right?
That's what I was going to say.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what they're supposed to do. Ben Johnson right now probably really annoys a lot of people for Packers fans. But I'm trying to think of some other ones when I was younger that maybe I was just like, I can't stand them. There's probably a lot of them. I just can't think of it right now. So, but anyways, what's this text? Oh, this is I think a favorite memory from Luke. Favre at Lambeau takes a hit, goes out with a probable concussion, checks himself back in on what I remember as a 4th and 4, throws a TD and gets yanked for the rest of the game. I vaguely remember that. I'm trying to think, who was that against? But boy, times have changed now. He probably ain't getting out of that medical tent for that one. But I think, my games were my memorable ones. I'll throw this one on there, too. Taking my kid to his first Packers game was pretty cool. First regular season game, because it was actually McManus's first game, and it was the walk-off against the Texans. Mm-hmm. But I remember my first Packers game just being like an awe and gawking at everything and gawking at Favre. And that was actually when they were playing Tom Brady and the Patriots, too. So I didn't go to my first game until I was in college for Packers. But, yeah, I think your first games are always kind of your favorite ones on there, too. Like, I remember my first Brewers game was actually at the Metrodome. I had won tickets because I was at a baseball camp, summer camp, and I had won tickets. So I ended up going there, and I remember getting there early and watching BP, and the guy pitching BP was in an old school Brewers uniform. It was Robin Yount pitching BP.
Wow.
And then there was a guy, because I was standing above the dugout with the group we were with, because they were trying to get autographs, and I didn't really comprehend that yet. Like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. And there was a guy to his back in just nice suit and all that, and people were trying to get his attention. He finally turned around and walked under the dugout. It was Euchre. So got to see that, like, walk right under. So I remember a lot that day and thinking it probably was the worst, but for whatever reason, it's in my mind as a probably 9-year-old at that time. Best hot dog I've ever had, because it was at a ball game. So, but, and I remember saying, oh, I think I could easily look up how old I was, but that was the McGuire home run chase, because the Cardinals were coming for that series, and they were like promoting that at the Metrodome. Come see Mark McGuire in the home run chase. So, yeah, I'd definitely throw that one in there too. Just, I think your first games are always going to be memorable that way. So we'll get you to that Packers one so you can mark it off on your bucket list there. So
I think my first Brewery game, Keston Hero was starting.
Oh.
Yeah, back when he played, and he hit a 3-run double and had a 2-run error. So
nice.
Yeah, both ways.
I remember the pitching matchups in my first Brewers one. It was Cal Eldred for the Brewers, Brad Radke, shout out Eau Claire for the Twins. Burnett hit a home run Marquise Grissom was our starting center fielder, which I was so excited about because he came from Cleveland, who was a good team, and that just never panned out. So, oh yeah, there were a lot of those starters. Richie says, I know you'll disagree, but I couldn't stand Dion. Hey, I can't stand Dion half the time, but I was just I was given that nickname. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Oh God, people are probably gonna be annoyed. My third grade teacher gave me the nickname Dion after Deion Sanders.
Wow.
Okay.
Because you're an athlete? Is
No.
that why? No, why?
All right. One of my highest athletic achievements ever. Third grade football recess. Our teacher, shout out Mr. Waller, would always play football with us. And he was always all-time quarterback. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We were playing on a icy blacktop area this time, and he would assign like teams. So our team was the 49ers, and he said I was Dion. Okay. I pick sixed him. He comes back in after recess, goes up to the marker board or chalkboard. We didn't have marker boards back then, chalkboard. Game MVP, Dan Kasper. And then he made me sign I'm dead serious. I shouldn't say made me, but I started signing my homework Dion, but I spelled Dion wrong.
Oh, no.
Dion, but that it stuck. And I remember one time I put my normal name on there because I think I was mad or something. And he's like, who's this? So I was like, yes.
Did you high step into the end zone? Or just...
I wish I did. But yeah, my greatest athletic achievement. So, but hey, Mr. Waller, I still talk to him once in a while and still bring that up. So, yeah. So I was kind of like, that's how I became a Dion fan. But I can see why he would annoy people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. I can't disagree with you, Richie. I can't disagree. So, okay, let's take a quick break. We'll get back on track here a little bit. We got some more Brewers chats coming up here as we get set for Game 3 of this series with the Diamondbacks today. Brandon Woodruff is on the mound. Maybe more help, though, coming for the Brewers. We know Jackson Chourio and Andrew Vaughn are scheduled to be back with the team next week, but could we potentially see even more help for the Brewers coming here rather soon? We'll take a quick break and be back with more coming up after these quick words. The time is now to sign up for the 6th Annual Casper Classic being held at Lake Hallie Golf Course Friday, August 7th. We've got 3 tee times available, 7:30, so you can get a quick 9 in before work starts, 10 a.m., which is going by fast, signups are, and 1 p.m. So just head to WAYYradio.com, sportstalk1051.com, or 715store.com to get your 2-person team in. Big thanks to Myron Construction, VFW Post 305, Window World, Superior Auto Body for being some of our fine sponsors. Hy-Vee as well for being our sponsors for the event. If you're interested in being a sponsor or you want to donate maybe a raffle prize or such, reach out and we'll get you situated. Or if you want to get your 2-person team, make sure you go to that website and sign up right now. We've sold out every year. I know it's not till August, but secure your spot by signing up right now. So, baseball-wise, Brewers back at it today, 12:40 first pitch. We've got Brandon Woodruff on the mound, Michael Soraka, who's off to a 4-0 start here. Jackson Cheerio, Andrew Vaughn got some playing time last night at Nashville. And we know they're coming up here probably next week, but is more help on the way? Cooper Pratt is really hitting the ball well as of late here for the Nashville Sounds. And given how the left side of the infield has been playing here for the Crew, is it time to also maybe call up one Cooper Pratt? And I know this was from Nashville Sounds last night when they posted it up on their Twitter account. Let me just kind of bring it up here for you. But Cooper Pratt, by the way, Jet Williams had a walk-off last night for the Nashville Sounds too, walk-off home run. So maybe we could get him over here too. That would be nice. But you look at that Nashville lineup from last night. If you were at that game to see Jefferson Kiro, Lara, who made an insane diving catch in the outfield, Jet Williams, Cooper Pratt, Andrew Vaughn. I mean, you were treated to some really talented players watching that game last night. But Pratt, another multi-hit game for him. He's hitting over 500 in his last 5 games. Should the Brewers bring up Cooper Pratt? And then, now.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
Intern Carter says, please. How about the rest of you? Thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, thumbs down, 2 thumbs down. Where are you at? He's going to be called up. I think we can all agree at some point this year he's going to be called up. Has to be. Do you strike while the iron's hot, or are you trying to be patient still to make sure that, okay, we don't want to rush him up too quick, but I mean, you got the contract and such. How do you handle this if you're Matt Arnold and Pat Murphy right now? At some point, you got to have him come up. He's got that contract, right? At some point, you do. It's kind of like, Mizorowski was at some point. It's like, he's done enough. You got to call him up, and is what they did last year. I know it's only last 5 games here, but at some point, you got to call him up with that contract. And it's not like you're getting really good production from Joey Ortiz or Rengifo or Hamilton and such. And I know Hamilton's got the speed in that, but for crying out loud, we need more.
I mean, we have 2 infielders in Ortiz and Rengifo who are hitting under 200.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be acceptable for an MLB roster.
No.
So I think anything will help at this point.
Yeah. Look at this lineup from last night for the Nashville Sounds. You ready for this? This was their batting lineup. Cheerio, Vaughn, Jefferson Kiro, Brock Wilken, Lara, Williams, Pratt. That would have been a fun one to go to.
I mean, that could be your future MLB roster.
It could be. Yeah. I mean, I'll have to show you during the break this catch from Luis. It was pretty sweet in center field. I mean, yeah. He tracked that thing down. So, and then you got Jesus Mate, who is throwing 100-mile-an-hour heaters from the infield. If Pratt gets called up at some point, you got to call up Jesus Mate.
Yeah,
I think at AAA too. You might as well just have the trickle-down effect.
Yeah.
And just, have those guys getting moved up and such.
Yeah, Pena to AA.
Pena to AA, even though if I want to go to a Timber Rattler game at some point this year, it'll mean that he's called up. But, hey, that's okay. I'll accept that at this point. But, no, I think, if Pratt continues maybe in the next few games to continue to do this, you got to make the move. And, okay, do they get really drastic in this thing now and say, Hamilton, we're optioning you, maybe option another player and call up both Jet and Cooper and completely overhaul that side and say Jet's at third, Cooper's at short? Do you do a drastic move and say we're wiping it clean and calling both these guys up because we need some consistency here, we need better production here, we're going to try it with these two?
So I don't think they move Hamilton down. Pat Murphy really likes him the way he plays. I think if you were to call up both Jet Williams and Cooper Pratt, you're giving up on Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of Joey Ortiz in a Brewers uniform. I think we need to get Rengifo somewhere else, whether it's trade or sending him down. I mean, 188 isn't good enough. Again, you have Greg Jones on this roster hitting 118. Yeah. So you'd have to call up an outfielder in that spot, but
maybe Lara.
I mean, why isn't he up right now? But that's a different conversation. That'd be fun as a Brewers fan. That'd be fun to watch both Jet and Pratt start their first games, but I don't see that happen.
I don't see it either, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah.
You literally are getting nothing. When when it gets to that portion at the bottom of the lineup, I'm almost to the point saying, let's just call it 3 outs and go and switch. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm more surprised of them actually maybe getting a hit. Like, I'm trying to be, not to be such a Debbie Downer, but like even the other night when Joey Ortiz actually got a hit in the 2 RBIs, I was like, holy crap. He actually produced. Got the runners across for crying out loud.
Yeah, well, just take this into consideration. The last 3 batters in the lineup last night were Blake Perkins, who's hitting 122, Joey Ortiz, who's hitting 197, and Greg Jones, who's hitting 118. You can't win a baseball game with those 3 at the bottom of your lineup.
Yeah.
That's just not possible.
The thing is, too, with Luis. The thing with Luis, he's only 5'7" and $169. He's taking a page from the infielders right now with his size.
Yeah.
But yeah, Made's a top prospect. Luis Pena is their second. Jet Williams is a third-rated prospect. He's going to be called up at some point this year too. He's going to be. Cooper Pratt's 4th. Fisher's in high A ball right now. He's their 5th. And Logan Henderson, Jefferson Kiro. For crying out loud, they've got their top 11 prospects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are in AAA right now. Luke Adams, if you want to throw him on there, that's another AAA top 12. So, they've got 6 of their 12 prospects are in AAA.
And it's interesting to me why Lara isn't up, because you look at his stats, he's hitting 333 with an OPS of 968. And you have Blake Perkins on this roster who's hitting 122 with an OPS of 429. And it's not like you said, Lara made an incredible catch. It's not like he can't play defense. So I don't know if there's a disconnect there. I don't understand.
I think part of it is the play of Garrett Mitchell. Now, I know Garrett Mitchell isn't necessarily lighting the world on fire. I think what is he hitting at now? Is it down to it's down to 230. His RBIs are there. I think if you bring up Lara, you got to play him. He can't sit on the bench. And I think, when you bring Jackson Chourio in, Chourio, Frelick, Lara's either going to be Lara. You probably put in center. So I think that's the decision that I think, honestly, and I'm not saying I agree with it. I think the reason he's not up right now is Garrett Mitchell. Like if Garrett Mitchell was hurt or Garrett Mitchell was hitting in the 100s and maybe wasn't hitting some clutch hits, which he has, I think we can acknowledge he has with his RBIs, then I think he's up. I think the reason he is not up yet is because Garrett Mitchell, because you're going to bring him up, you have to play him every day.
Yeah. What about Jet Williams? He could play outfield.
He could. And
but would you think they have to play him too every day?
Yep. I think if you call up Cooper, Jet, those guys, they have to play every day. It's like when they brought up Kiro for a hot minute, you have to play him.
Yeah.
Whether it's DH or catching, you got to play him. It's not going to do any good sitting on the bench for these guys.
Yeah, and that makes it even harder because with Churio coming back, you have Frelick, Churio, and Mitchell as your outfield, as your starters, right? So, but I mean, for Lara, like, what else does he have to do?
And I think it's to the point if they do one of two things. If there's a long-term injury to one of those outfielders, whether it's Mitchell or Churio, or it's like a few months, then I think you see Lara come out because he's going to play every day then. Or if something really Mitchell like plummets, I think Frelick has a little bit more of a grace than Mitchell, to be honest with you.
Yep.
I'm not saying it because he's the GOAT, but I think he's what else he brings to the table. And so, even like Mitchell, I think there's been times he's struggled in the outfield defensively. He's really good, but there's been a couple times where I'm just like, poor maybe decisions on the route he has taken in that. But
and I think even more grace just because, Pat Murphy, he stated he didn't think Mitchell was going to make the roster opening day.
That's true, yeah.
So, yeah, he's going to get a little bit of leeway with how bad our outfield is right now. But Sal Frelick is a Gold Glover, so that helps him.
Yep, yeah. It's a small outfield, though, if you put Frelick and Lara and then maybe throw in Jackson in there, too. So,
but Lara has won several Gold Gloves in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
So it's not like his defense is bad.
And the dude's got 5 homers right now.
Yeah, he's leading. He's
5'7". He's got 5 home runs. That's just, yeah.
Even Eddie's Leonard hitting .313, 5 home runs.
Yep.
Another left fielder.
What's the biggest issue for this Brewers team right now is offense, right? It's offense, and I know we're way. But here's the thing, too. What if Jackson comes back and Vaughn comes back and it's still issues with the offense because of the bottom of the order? Bring in Pratt and Jet Williams and see if it's different.
Start the whole AAA team.
Right? Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break. Running a little behind here, but we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Sometimes accidents happen, but getting your vehicle back to normal does not have to be stressful. And at Superior Auto Body, they specialize in getting your vehicle looking right again after dents, dings, or collisions. And the best part is that they handle the insurance process for you, working directly with your provider to make things simple and hassle-free. No runaround, no confusion, just quality work and a team that's got your back every single step of the way. Get your vehicle back on the road with confidence. Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, where the job gets done. Just a couple minutes left to the top of the hour here. So let's do some final calls. Final calls for your Enoughs Are Enough or your Takeover Thursday topics. If you got a topic that you would like to throw out there for the rest of the listeners, if we like it, we select it. We'll throw it out there for everybody to chime in. So you can hit us up on that texting line or join in on the Section 105 chat room. Brewers again back at it today, 12:40. You can listen to the game, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Pre-game coverage will begin at 12:05. So, and then, of course, if you're a hockey fan, maybe a Wild fan, big game tonight. Or if you're a Timberwolves fan, also a big game tonight, too, for our friends just across the border. So be a busy night, I would imagine, in Minnesota with those two games. So curious if anybody's like going to try to go to both. I'm sure there's got to be some people that have tickets to both, and they're going to go back and forth and hop on that. So, but I'd like to go back to another. We were talking a little bit earlier. Somebody brought up about favorite games or favorite live games. I had a blast going to a Wild game a couple of years ago against the Kraken. I'd go again in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. But, my buddy Josh just hasn't invited me back. So, that's what I get from a guy like that. So, but choose your friends wisely, intern Carter. Choose your friends wisely. So, okay, just a minute left. Shot clock's going to cut us off. So, continue to hit us up with those topics. We'll maybe get back to a little football talk coming up in the next hour here too, as we, now we get set for rookie camp tomorrow. All the rookies will be practicing for the Packers. The 6 draft picks and all those undrafted kids and the tryout kids and that stuff. So you'll get your first glimpse all across social media with those rookies. So. But that'll begin tomorrow and then also on Saturday. So maybe we'll throw a little bit more football talk coming up in the final hour of the program. All right, quick break. We got some news updates, and then we're ready to kick off the fourth quarter, the final hour on this Thursday morning, on the final Thursday of the month of April. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back in just a couple short minutes. Could use a little bit more caffeine in this fourth. I think intern could too a little bit. You got to get you a coffee hook if you're going to be doing this. As I don't know what your future is going to hold, but you're going to have to develop into a coffee drinker there, intern Carter. So, but thanks for hanging out with us here this morning. No matter however you're listening to us, if it's on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available to stream up online. SportsTalk1051.com. You got the Alexa smart devices or the app or the video stream as well. We've got, this is from Sam. I got to see the NBA All-Star Game in 81. In Bird, Magic, Dr. J, Moses, Malone, Ewing, Olajuwon. All those guys would walk by all the time because I had seats on the way to both locker. Oh, because he had season tickets for the Cavaliers too. Okay, I got it. Got to see that sports impersonator at the 81 NBA All-Star because he was wearing a Houston Rockets warm-up jersey out there during warm-ups. And security got him off the court away. I noticed him right away also. All right, cool. That's a cool story too. But keep those. What's your favorite live sports game event that you've been to? That's a Takeover Thursday topic that C-Bomb had sent in a little bit earlier. Some cool stories that have been shared so far. So you can continue to send those on over if you would like, or if you have another Takeover Thursday where you act as the producer. If you'd like to throw out a topic for us to discuss and we like it, we're an open book. We'll talk about it. We'll hit it up. One of yours, intern, is you said who's the Brewers MVP so far this year? Was that one of them?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Terang, probably. I got to go Terang. You could maybe pick one of the pitchers now, but considering the offensive issues, Terang has been the guy, so I got to go. Terang or Contreras are my top two, just because of Terang with Contreras working with the young pitching staff too. I think that does have to factor into it.
Yeah.
So I'd probably go that.
Who do you think's been the best pitcher?
Why do you have to ask that? I don't know, man. I gotta say, I'm a little surprised at how well Aaron Ashby has been. If I'm going it's easy to pick a starter. Kyle Harrison, I think, has been awesome, as advertised. Jacob Mizorowski, he's been solid. Brandon Woodruff, I think, is just being Brandon Woodruff right now, which is a good thing, right? I mean, he's been kind of I kind of like what Aaron Ashby's, his role. I like Aaron Ashby's role right now. I know they've been using him a lot, but I just like the role that he's in. You look at this is what I think is 18 in the third innings. He's got 30 strikeouts, tied for the second most. The person that's got more is Jacob Mizorowski, and then next is Kyle Harrison, 2 starters. Who Mizorowski's pitched 32 2/3, Kyle Harrison 23 2/3, and then Ashby's got the same amount of strikeouts and 18 1/3 innings. So I'm gonna be a little different, and I might go Aaron Ashby on this one.
All right, one more question. So I had this debate with somebody. What is an acceptable ERA for your ace?
Ooh,
what makes them
that's a good
be
question.
good? Because is it
if we look at it from an ERA standpoint,
standard, is it 3 or under? Is it 3.5 and under?
I guess when I think of an ace, I'm probably thinking on 3 or under.
I think so.
Just if we're looking at it from that standpoint alone, honestly, that's what I think of.
And here's why I asked, because I think Jacob Mizorowski has pitched well this year, but he's got a 3.3 ERA, and so the kind of debate was, has he pitched well enough? Is he been up to his potential? And he's got 51 strikeouts, like you said, in 32 2/3 innings, but has he done what he should be doing in the MLB?
Mm-hmm.
And I found that interesting.
So let me go through some of these pitchers with their ERAs, and we'll see if they would be considered aces. Max Fried's 2.09.
Yeah.
I mean, he's with the Yankees, but a lot of other teams, he's probably an ace, right?
Yeah.
Chris Sale, 2.31. Yeah. Soriano with the Angels, 0.84. Probably.
Yeah.
that when you throw Jacob deGrom, 2.01. Yeah, I think he's kind of back to Jacob deGrom from his Mets days,
Yep.
right? So those are just, a few. And I know it's still kind of early for a lot of these guys, but like Dylan Cease, 2.87. Yeah. Yamamoto with the Dodgers, 2.87. Yeah. So, yeah. I think that's just kind of where I'm at. It's like 3 or below, and we'll see how it all kind of plays out at the end. But, Aaron Savali's got a better ERA than Jacob Mizorowski right now, 3.23.
But then you look at guys like Logan Webb. He's got a 4.86 ERA.
Yeah.
Or Framber Valdez, a 3.41 ERA.
And I think they'll get better with more games.
Yeah.
I think those will go down because some of them are still so skewed. Even like an Aaron Ashby ERA, you look at it, well, the amount of innings and such. So it's probably a little bit higher in that. But I'd be curious to see what the list looks like, let's say, All-Star break. But I guess, just from a fan standpoint, I think of 3 or below as an ace. What are some of the career ERAs for, like, top career for starters? I don't really want to look at relievers because I think that kind of skews a lot of it, right? Mariano Rivera is probably going to be up there, but he's a reliever. I don't want innings pitched. What are we doing here? Here we go.
I think.
You got ERA. Jacob deGrom's on that list. That was the same one. If you scroll down a little bit more, it'll be highlighted. I thought I just saw Jacob deGrom on there. Yeah, right there, 52. So his ERA's career is a 2.6 if we round up.
That's impressive. Clayton Kershaw, 2.534.
Yep. And a lot of these guys, again, are like older pitchers or relievers for a lot of them. But who's the next closest active besides Jacob deGrom? It'll be bolded if you scroll down more. Holy moly. We're going down that. Wow.
Max Fried.
Max Fried, and then Chris Sale. All right, yeah.
172 and 174.
So I wonder, what's Justin Verlander's career ERA, I wonder? Just trying to think of somebody who's pitched for a long time. Or like a Max Scherzer. Blake Snell's, okay.
Wow.
Max Scherzer's right there. He's a 3.26. Zach Wheeler. All right. Justin Verlander, 3.32.
328th.
Wow. Interesting. That's a good discussion. Good debate to have. So keep them coming, peeps. What else do you got out there? What do you think? You can join in on the convo if you would like to. Zach on the video stream says top 3 Brewer players: Turang, Miz, and I gotta go Sal just because of his outfielder play. So Contreras has got to be in the top 3, I think, though, for me, just for what play and how he handles the pitching staff too. But you're tugging at the heartstrings there, Zach, when you say Sal Frelick, man. Zach says football playoff game at Lambeau against the Giants when Randall Cobb caught the Hail Mary from Rodgers. That game was insane. Somebody else already mentioned that one too. So that was a couple mentions for that game. All right. I remember watching that one. So I've watched every Packer game though. So shouldn't be too big of a surprise. But all right, keep those coming. All right, those are good ones. Let's take a really quick break here. We'll kind of regroup. But join in the convo. All right, we want to hear from you. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. With spring rolling here in the Chippewa Valley, it is time to get back outside and enjoy that season. And whether you're heading to the range or maybe getting ready for hunting season or just gearing up for some time in the great outdoors, Tilden Gun is your local stop for selection, service, and expertise. They offer a wide range of firearms and accessories along with a knowledgeable staff who can help you find exactly what fits your needs. No pressure, just straight answers and real guidance. It's about making sure that you're comfortable, confident, and ready for your next outing. Spring is a season to get prepared, to get organized, and to get outside. And Tilden Gun is here to help you do just that. So stop on in and see what they've got in stock and why so many in the Chippewa Valley trust them year after year. So I know we talked a little bit earlier about the whole Jordan, LeBron piece, ESPN and that. And since today is a little enough is enough, and I know you said your enough is enough as LeBron, but let me throw one out there for consideration. Should we just say enough is enough with GOAT debates all the time? And, because I'm not saying we can't have them, once in a while, because I think they are fun conversations in that. But should the GOAT debate kind of just like tamper down a little bit once in a while? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's crazy that it does come up so much. I find it interesting that it does. Because Michael Jordan really never talks about it.
Right.
And LeBron doesn't talk about it that much either. It's a lot of media driven. But yeah, I think we can confidently say that we can stop talking about it. Because
I think I think it's a good bar, man cave, bar stool, chit chat, have once in a while sort of thing. But to really try to peg it down, I think is impossible. And I think that's, again, it's the beauty part of, sports and having these talks and that. But there is no definitive answer in this whole thing. You can't quantify it, right? You can't go out there and say, this is the exact answer and here's why.
Yeah, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I think if you're a Michael Jordan fan, nothing LeBron's going to do in his career coming up will change that. And if you're a LeBron fan, well, you're not going to Jordan. So LeBron could go win a title. I'm still picking Jordan as my GOAT. So it's very personal for who your GOAT is, and I don't think that's going to change.
I think that's a good way to put it. I think that's because LeBron fans can look at stats, look at numbers, look at all this stuff. Jordan fans, I think a lot of them, the main one they'll say is, well, two of them, the MVPs, but also 6-0 in the NBA Finals. They're all very valid arguments, right? I mean, which one? It kind of goes, I think it kind of goes back to the whole quarterback debate. Do you go based off of championships or do you go based off of talent? Because I think it's fair to say that Tom Brady is probably not the most talented quarterback, just from a physical standpoint, skill standpoint. But the dude won 7 Super Bowls. So when we get to that, the whole who's the greatest of all time, I think a lot of it is so dependent on what do you value more? Is it straight up championships? If it's straight up championships, then in basketball, maybe it should be Bill Russell as the best of all time.
Or, Tim Duncan's 5-1 in championships.
So it kind of depends on what, I always joke about it, but I wish I could someday come up with that formula that would actually tell you what the best player is of all time. And, it's like, well, 75% of it is championships, then 10% is this, and 5%, and then you formulate that and all that, but you can't. But it's a personal preference at that point. Because if it's straight championships, if you're going to say Tom Brady's a GOAT in football because of he's got all the championships, then do you say the same thing in basketball? Because then it should be Bill Russell as the greatest player of all time. Everybody's going to be different. Yeah. And that's what makes the discussion, I don't like to say argument, the discussion interesting for back and forth. You and I might have a different opinion on who we think the best baseball player is of all time. Maybe it's going to be Ohtani. I'm not ready to say that, but maybe it is Ohtani. People say Babe Ruth. Some will say Willie Mays. Ken Griffey might have been one of the biggest what-ifs. He's still one of the great, but I think for somebody who got to watch it live, if he would have stayed healthy, he probably is in that conversation. Mike Trout was in the conversation, then he really fell off. Who do you, just out of curiosity, do you think is
That's
the
a
best baseball
good
player of all
question.
time?
I don't know. Barry Bonds was really good.
And then for some, we'll eliminate him because of,
Yep.
Steroids. Let's just say it.
And the reason I don't is just because no matter how many steroids you take, you still have to hit the baseball. And I mean, Brewers can't do that right now, so it shows how hard it is. But I haven't. That's a good question. I don't really know my baseball goat.
Mm-hmm. I think, and then you throw in Hank Aaron. I mean, where how high do you put a pitcher? Is that where Ohtani gets the advantage?
I think baseball is so hard because it almost has to be the greatest position player of all time and the greatest pitcher of all time because their stats are so different.
That's where I think you could do the same in football, where it should be best quarterback of all time, and then maybe it's like, then do you break it down best defensive player of all time, best quarterback of all time, and then best offensive player of all time. But then where do offensive linemen work in? That you can go different directions on that one.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like goalie-wise, I think we were just talking about the hockey part of it, last week or the week before.
Mm-hmm.
When we were talking about like Ovechkin and that. Our goalies kind of the forgotten ones because, they don't have the scoring points and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think basketball is almost positionless in terms of who you decide as your top player in that. Curiosity, is LeBron in your all-time starting five, though, if you're building a five?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Again, it's hard because the eras are different. Like, if I'm taking a starting five, I'm probably going to take five back when Jordan played. So then he probably wouldn't be. But if you just take all-time grades, then maybe he is. It's like, it's hard. Like, Michael Jordan and LeBron, don't they technically play the same position?
LeBron, I would say, LeBron's bigger, so Jordan's more of the prototypical 2/shooting guard. Yeah, 3. He calls himself a point forward, which, sure, I'd probably put him as a power forward.
Yeah. Would you want Kobe instead? Because he's got to play that 2 spot.
That's so, like, I go back and forth on this because I used to just do a prototypical, my starting five is going to have a legit point guard. It's going to be the distributor of the ball.
Yep.
Your shooting guard. Then a prototypical 3, small forward. Then a prototypical power forward. And then your center. Now it's like, do I go positionless because I want Kobe and Jordan? So is that my backcourt, or does one of them go to the 3? Then my center is like, do I want perhaps maybe one of the most, if not the most dominant center, which was Shaq. But you have Kareem in there too, so it's
more of them play the 4, right? Like,
but then you got Tim Duncan, Mr. Fundamental, or do I go Karl Malone? You can't go wrong with them. But
actually, I will say I don't think LeBron is in my starting 5.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Because I think I personally would rather have Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
So then how would the rest go?
I think Magic at point guard.
Okay.
Duncan at the 4, Shaq at the 5.
Okay. And you can't go wrong with that lineup. And then for me then too, it's like, I got to find a way to put Larry Bird in there. I need my trash talking forward who can hit the 3 from the corner and such. Yeah, it's basketball to me is for NBA history. It's fun to always try to come up with your starting 5 because everybody's different, except for, I would argue, almost 100%, because nothing's really ever 100% unless you're Mariano Rivera going into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Almost 100% will have Jordan in their starting 5. Almost. I would say next up might be LeBron as the closest. But then after that, it's all personal preference. What kind of center do you want? Do you want Akeem Olajuwon with the little turnarounds? Do you want Shaq with the dominance? Do you want Kareem with the skyhook and the scoring? Power forward, do you want Mr. Fundamental Tim Duncan, who's 6'11", maybe a little bit more of a prototypical power forward with a Karl Malone, or smaller power forward like mound round of rebound Charles Barkley? Do you want Scottie Pippen or Grant Hill as a small forward, or do you go smaller with putting a Jordan or a Kobe at that spot, or LeBron?
Well, and a lot of people my age will say Steph Curry, and we've said I don't think he's a point guard. He's more of a shooting guard, but a lot of people my age will put Steph Curry in their all-time 5 because he's one of the best shooters to ever play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all based on eras, I think.
It is. It is. So what about the rest of you? I think the GOAT, and that's where I go to the wide receiver argument. This is where it kind of becomes a little bit more personal for me, is because when you look at all-time, a lot of people's list for best receivers, Don Hudson's not in there. And I get it, played in the 40s. But could is Don Hudson built like Randy Moss or Tio? Heck no. But Don Hudson dominated in his era. And I think that's how you have to kind of compare it. Did he dominate in his era? He dominated in his era. So could he play in today's game? I think he'd be a completely different receiver. Yes, he's got the speed, but he's probably not going to be maybe a prototypical perimeter type of guy. So it's and I think it does it injustice to a lot of the other players from back in the day, because some people say, well, could they play in today's game? Probably not a lot of them. But I don't think that's fair to them because of the advances of a lot of things, right? Like the advances of working out, fitness. Those players back in the day couldn't dedicate 365 days a week, to train, to practice and that. I would argue every single player in any league today could play back then because they're better athletes. I don't think it's fair to those older players to say, well, could they play in today's day? No, they probably couldn't. But that's not because it's their fault. It's because of what the game was like back then or what the sport was like back then.
Yeah, and I mean, even dominance is debatable. Like, do you dominate in championships or do you dominate in stats? Like, you have to take it all into consideration when you're considering these.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, there's so many different. But that's what makes it fun, though, to kind of talk about and such. So, but all right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though, coming up after these quick words. As the fields are coming back to life, it's time for spring sports in the Chippewa Valley. Whether you're stepping up to the plate, hitting the track, or getting back on the field, make sure that your body is ready to perform. At Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, their team specializes in keeping athletes of all ages healthy, strong, and in the game. From injury prevention to expert care and recovery, they've got you covered every step of the season. Don't let pain keep you on the sidelines. Get back in the game with confidence. That's Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better and helping you play stronger and staying in the game. So, all right. We've got Packers rookies going to be reporting tomorrow and such. You all excited to see rookies in shorts and helmets and such? So we're supposed to be optimistic, right? When we get some new players and such and be excited. That's what we're supposed to do with fans and such, as being sports fans and such. So why not, right? Why not? Which rookie are you most excited to see?
Is
still Cisse? Okay, yeah. I think there's a lot to work with her, and hopefully he just hits that potential.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing. I hope he hits that potential. We'll see. Have to let it play out, though, right? So, was there a draft that you thought a team did really well at overall?
So in the first round, we talked about it before. I hate to say it. I think the Cowboys got the best player in the draft. I think Caleb Downs is the best player in the draft. And I hated to see him go to the Cowboys, but I think the Jets drafted well.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns drafted well.
I like what the Giants did.
Yeah,
with
the
Reese
Giants
and getting another offensive tackle.
Orville Reese definitely confused me a little bit. He was there. You had to take him. He was definitely the best available player at 5. But with Thibodeau and Carter,
Brian Burns.
Yeah, Burns there as well. You really didn't need an edge rusher, and I know he can play off the ball linebacker, but that's not his best spot. And I thought they would prioritize maybe a Jordan Tyson at 5. They decided to go defense. Obviously, you can't hurt that. Jim Harbaugh's had Roquan Smith in Baltimore for the longest time. So, but yeah, a lot of teams drafted well. I think this year, there wasn't a ton of intrigue, and I think everyone just went chalk almost.
Mm-hmm. I think part of it too is you look at the division. Maybe the Giants play in Jalen Hurts and then a healthy Jaden Daniels, and adding maybe somebody like Reese to kind of run those guys down a little bit. And if Thibodeau, I think Thibodeau's going to end up getting traded. To be honest with you, I think he's going to be on the move. And then Carter had some issues last year, whether it was coaching staff or what. But it's talent. Can't argue that. They got some horses up there. Mm-hmm. And if I am Jalen Hurts or I am Jane Daniels, I'm hoping my offensive line can protect, because it's intimidating now to line up and see those guys.
They're going to be a fun team to watch for sure. The wide receiver core is definitely thin, but besides that, they're going to be a fun team.
They are, and I think, I think every fan base has a right to be optimistic at this point. You never know how it's going to play out. So that's why everybody's probably pumped out. I'm sure some fans are upset about picks and that, but again, we don't know how they're going to play. So I hope nobody. That's why I don't like grades after a draft, like letter grades.
Letter grades. Yep.
I get it from a content standpoint. It's a talking point, but at the same time, no, it's not fair to the players.
Well, and it's always interesting, right? Because grades are based on when the player was picked,
right?
And the teams know more about the player, know how good he is. And we I'm not media, but us as fans are like, well, I think he was better here, even though we don't know as much as the team. So we're giving a grade based on what we know and not what they know. So it's always not going to be right usually.
Right.
So
it's like those are what the team scouts do for a living.
Yeah.
They're on the road. That's what they do. How many times a day, hours in a day, days in a week? We're just watching what's on TV. Mm-hmm. Right? So they got a better grasp of it. I don't think a lot of us are probably better than those people doing their jobs. So I trust it. And even like the media, some of the media who do that for a living, they don't have privy to a lot of that info either. So, right? They don't know everything that's kind of behind the scenes either. And it's a gamble. That's what it is. Any draft is a gamble. We don't know how these human beings are going to play out. We don't. If it wasn't exact science, well, then the draft in sports would be just boring. It would be 100% boring and probably not that entertaining and that fun for a lot of fans.
And frustrating.
Right.
It's like, why didn't our team get him?
That's part of being a sports fan. With the glory, you're going to have more frustration. You're going to be disappointed more times than not. But it's that little bit of glory that keeps us coming back as fans. You're probably going to be more disappointed, like 70, maybe even higher, 80% of the time. But that little taste of glory is what gets everybody addicted and loving sports. There's going to be more disappointment than happiness. So that's just my thoughts on it.
Yep.
But Brewers, again, back at it later on today here. And then they hit the road to take on the Nationals. I look at this upcoming schedule here for the Brewers, and I just feel like this is an important stretch here to win this series. And I don't want to make it sound like the Diamondbacks are an awful team, because they're not. But you look at the upcoming May schedule, things are going to get pretty tough here for the Brewers. You got the Nationals. Cardinals, too. I mean, no joke. They're being a pesky team this year and surprising a lot of people. So don't take them for granted. Don't overlook them. And then, you're looking at, after the Cardinals, you're coming home to the Yankees. I'm going to be at one of those games. Padres. You throw the Twins in there, then it's the Cubs, then it's the Dodgers, then it's the Cardinals again, and then you throw in the Astros. So it's going to be a tough May. And I just hope all these guys are back and healthy, and they can be healthy, and they can get back to playing some consistent baseball.
Yeah, right. You're trying to be hitting your stride by now. And, last year they weren't much better at this point. That's what gives me a little bit of hope. They were struggling at this point a little bit last year, and May's kind of when they flipped the switch. So maybe they do it again this year. Like you said, much harder schedule, but something's got to give. So,
Hey, they swept the Dodgers in the regular season last year. So, as Kevin Garnett once said, anything is possible. So anything is possible. But yeah, that Yankees, Padres. You throw the Twins in there, then Cubs, Dodgers. Whew, that's a tough portion of the schedule. Yikes.
Yeah.
Especially Yankee. Ugh. But no, I'll be going to one of the Yankee games. I got to take the kid because he wants to see Judge. That's one of his favorite players. So talk about number 99.
Yeah.
If you're the Yankees and you retire every single number, you're gonna run out of numbers at some point. So that's another topic for another day too, about number retirement. I don't have a problem with it. It's just don't make it to where everybody's getting retired numbers. Be a little bit like stingy on it.
Yeah.
So, Sam says, I would say Jordan was a lot better than LeBron because he was better defensively and elevated his teammates. And Jordan was LeBron's role model. And I'm saying that even though I'm from Akron. So, Akron native.
Jordan's a shoot first guy. What do you mean?
And that one is it's kind of weird because they are different eras, but they are really close too.
Yeah.
But basketball has changed so much since the 90s. I love 80s and 90s basketball, even early 2000s. But it was almost like when LeBron and that age of era, or that age of players like the Dwayne Wades and that, it was almost like a shift. You know what I mean? Like it was almost like that was the shift in towards where I struggled to be an NBA fan.
Yep.
All right, we got to take our final break, and then we'll have some picks. Are the Wild going to get it done tonight? Are the Timberwolves going to get it done tonight? Are the Brewers going to get it done and win another series? We'll pick all those games coming up after these quick words. All right, let's wrap up this Thursday nonsense with some picks as we normally do. We're going to start off with the NBA world before we get to a little Stanley Cup playoffs and the MLB schedule. So, last night in the playoffs, the Pistons able to take down the Magic to stay alive in their series. Cleveland defeating Toronto to be up 3-2 in that series, and Houston picking up another win, even without KD still, to stay alive in that series. So Orlando, Cleveland, and the Lakers are leading their series 3-2. We've got 3 games on the docket for tonight. Will the Knicks move on? They play the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta. Knicks are up 3-2 with a win. They move on. With a loss, we go to a Game 7. Who's got the win tonight?
I think the Knicks win.
I'm going to go Atlanta. I'm going to say Game 7 just to make Knicks fans freak out even more. So, Boston, Philadelphia. Boston's leading 3-2.
It's in Philly. I'll go Sixers.
I'm going to go Boston in this one. So, Denver, Minnesota. Minnesota leads the series 3-2.
I think Denver wins.
I'm going to go Denver, too. So, we're going to get a Game 7 for that. Let's go to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Last night, we saw Montreal defeat Tampa Bay. So, Montreal now leads that series 3-2. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Philadelphia winning 1-0 in overtime. So, Philadelphia moves on, winning that series. Utah, Vegas in double overtime. Vegas picking up a 5-4 victory. Vegas now leads that series 3-2. We've got 2 games on the docket. We'll start off first with Edmonton at Anaheim. Anaheim leads that series 3-2.
I think the Ducks win.
I'll go Ducks too. Yep, I'll go Ducks too. Dallas at Minnesota. Minnesota leads 3-2.
I think the Stars win.
I'll go Wild. So, let's do some baseball games. We've got Detroit at Atlanta today.
Atlanta.
I'll go with the Braves too. Let's go Houston versus Baltimore.
Houston.
I'm going to go Houston too. Let's do Giants and Philadelphia. Logan Webb versus Sanchez.
Phillies.
I'll go Giants in this one. Why not? Let's go Cardinals and Pirates. Paul Skeens.
Pirates.
Okay, yeah. I'll go Pirates too. Let's go Colorado and Cincinnati.
Reds.
I'll go Reds. Washington and the Mets. Freddie Peralta.
Nationals.
I'll go Mets for this one. Kansas City versus the Athletics.
Athletics.
I'll go KC. Houston. Houston, Baltimore
Doubleheader.
doubleheader. Yeah.
I picked Houston game 1. I'll take Orioles game 2.
I'll go Baltimore too. Let's do another doubleheader. San Francisco and Philadelphia.
I'll go Giants game 2.
I'll go Philly for this one. And then Toronto, Minnesota to start their new series.
Toronto.
And then finally, Diamondbacks, Brewers. Soraka, Woodruff.
I have to go Diamondbacks.
I am going to go with the Brewers to hand Soraka his first loss of the year. So that's maybe a little bit more wishful thinking at that point. So, but all right, those are your picks for this morning. Again, reminder: Brewers going to be playing at 12:40 today. 12:40. So you can listen to it on the radio dials if you're going to be stuck at work. Get your radios out. Tune to 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Coverage will begin at 12:05, and then the Brewers hit the road to take on the Washington Nationals in another series. By the way, happy anniversary. 1971, the Bucks beat the Baltimore Bullets in for the NBA championship. They swept the Baltimore Bullets. So 1971, back in the day. They were at that time only the second team in Major League history to take another team out in 4 straight games.
There you go.
So, also on this day, 1939, Lou Gehrig played his last game with the Yankees. I thought there was one more. Willie Mays in 61 hit 4 home runs against the Milwaukee Braves. I'll throw that one in there. It's not a good one for Milwaukee, but still. And then A-Rod, 2002, became the second youngest Major League player to reach 250 home runs. He was 26 years old and 277 days old. There are so many what-if players in baseball, whether it's injuries or substance abuse. Like if they were clean or if they never got hurt. Alex Rodriguez, where would he be viewed as for all time? Ken Griffey, if he never got hurt, where would he be viewed at? Barry Bonds, if there wasn't those, those are the three that Roger Clemens, if you want to go a pitcher route.
Yeah.
Where would those four be viewed at in terms of all-time greats if they were clean and healthy? It's such a what if. And man, I wish I could have seen more of Griffey and Alex Rodriguez together in Seattle. That's almost like the kind of sort of almost like the Ohtani Trout version for a little bit that the Angels has. Like, how do you not go to the playoffs and win playoff games when you have Ohtani and Trout on the same teams? Because everybody else stunk, but it's like, dang, you guys had that and you weren't able to do anything with that. And every year I pick the Angels to like make, and they would always fall short. But man, that was, yeah. So. But anyways, that's something I always think about once in a while.
Yeah, well, Mike Trout's injuries kind of.
That's another one though too. If he doesn't get hurt, where is he? Because he was like, boom. You asked Alexa back in the day, she picked Mike Trout as the best baseball player of all time.
Wow.
And that's another one. If he doesn't get hurt, is he still viewed as a top 10 player of all time? Is he on the path to being a top 10 player of all time? Is Ohtani already a top 5 player of all time?
I would say no.
Top 10?
I think so. Top 10.
I think so too.
Yeah.
You just, numbers-wise, you can't argue. And then the awards, and now he's got the World Series. So, yeah, he's on Dodgers and that too, but still, he's personally putting up some ridiculous numbers on top of that. So, it's... enjoy it because this might be our version of Babe Ruth.
Yeah. Well, we may get to see the greatest player to ever play.
We may. You never know, right? Depends on how you feel, what your personal definition is, right? Right?
Yes.
Hey, think about it. Oh, you're probably too young, but, well, depends on if you were LeBron. You could say, I got to see LeBron, Tom Brady, and Ohtani, the three GOATs.
Wow.
At least I could say Jordan on mine. You didn't get to see Jordan play on TV, right? Yeah.
No.
Jordan, Ohtani, and Brady. Hockey, I got to see Gretzky. So I'm feeling pretty good.
No kidding.
Feeling old, but pretty good. That's a good chance. That could be another question to kind of have fun with one of these days. Who's the GOAT of each sport that you got to watch in your lifetime? So for some, maybe maybe a little bit younger. They never got, like my kid never got to see Jordan. He probably would be LeBron. But, maybe a little bit, I'm trying to who would be the GOATs of.
Like I got to watch the back end of Kobe's career.
Right.
So
for baseball, who would be, I'd still might want to go Griffey just because it's a personal one there too. But it's just such a huge what if on that whole thing. But,
yeah.
Man. All right. You call, are you calling any games?
Saturday. Baseball. Yep.
What do you got for the matchup yet? Do you know?
McDonald. I don't remember who they're playing.
Okay.
McDonald's baseball team.
Baseball?
Playing.
Okay.
Yep. So should be
right.
fun.
I can't believe we're winding down on that season already too. Spring sports just goes by way too fast.
Way too fast.
Because I know Blue Golds, they're already wrapping up baseball and softball regular season. Their final games are this weekend. And then it's WAC tournament next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it's all, and then graduation just in a few weeks here. So crazy times, but okay. Coming up tomorrow, we'll catch up with Dr. Crow for a little inside the training room. That's coming your way around 7 o'clock as normal. But really quick, we've got a few texts here on the video stream. Zach says, Jordan is the all-time go-to basketball. He won all his titles and championships with the same team. James went to multiple teams to win. In my eyes, what Jordan did is more impressive. Brandon says, not the best players, but how fun would this team how fun would this team be to watch? Iverson, Jason Williams, T-Mac, Vince Carter, Dwight Howard. Oh, Brandon, now you're in my wheelhouse. Once in a while, I get down a rabbit hole, and I'm scrolling through like social media if I'm just trying to whatever. I need a breather. Watching Jason Williams highlights of him passing is sick. And you kind of forget about it.
Didn't he do that elbow pass? Wasn't that Jason Williams?
White chocolate, man. That dude was wow. I would argue one of the best, if not the best, passers of the basketball in history. But all right, shot clock's going to cut us off. Have a fantastic day, everybody. We'll be speaking of tomorrow too. Brandon Berg will be joining us, so we'll do some local sports roundup with him and all of our usual shenanigans. Hopefully, we're talking about a Brewers series win, and then looking ahead to the Nationals. So that's coming your way tomorrow. Have a good Thursday. Same place, same time, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., right here from the TDS Sports Talk studios. And your homework assignments for tomorrow, give me your cream of the crops. That's it. Have a good day. Talk to you all tomorrow.